We're live. It's the A7FL Games of the Week. You see Sterry Codrington getting ready as it's the East Orange Renegades facing the Trenton BIC. The winner goes to Vegas. The loser goes fishing. Hello, everyone. I'm Matt Ryan, joined alongside Corey Hammond. Joining us in just a few moments is Big Rob Fabian. But let's show you where we are in the Eastern Conference semifinals. It'll be the BIC taking the Renegades on in just about 5 minutes' time. And then at 4 o'clock Eastern, it'll be the Animals taking on the Baltimore Watchmen, live right here on the A7FL playoffs. And we want to thank our new partners joining us wherever you are, We're so glad you are joining us here for the A7FL Games of the Week. But let's talk about the two teams facing off. We've got Sterry Codrington and them boys getting ready to throw things off in Asbury. But let's take a look at their opponents, the East Orange Renegades, and that man Kyle Ward, Corey Hammond, almost single-handedly helped the Renegades get past the QC Crush 2 weeks ago and move them on into the next round of the Eastern Conference playoffs, setting up for this unique showdown where if they win, either team wins, they're traveling out to Las Vegas to battle the two remaining teams from Nevada. It's the first ever East versus West semifinal. But let's take a look at Kyle Ward, Corey. What makes this man special?
I mean, he's been one of the most consistent performers on the offensive side of the ball in the history of the A7FL. I don't know if he's had a landmark performance in a big spot like he did last week, but what he brings to the table is all of the skills that you look for from a wide receiver, but I think it's the extra physical strength that he brings as a pound-for-pound powerhouse and his balance in the routes and in the air. What he was able to do last week is change the game's momentum. After 2 times, you'll see right there, this touchdown was scored. QC Crush were up 7-0, just had a drive to break the 0-0 tie, and there goes that man completely erasing every single ounce of effort that they put into it. And then this catch here to take the lead for the first time, that's just a terrible situation that he turns into an easy touchdown. And then the last touchdown he had, again, QC Crush go down the field and score. He erases their drive with a 3-on-1 return. And then here's the quarterback that's going to be really important. Service, a rookie. He's really, Matt, and I'll let you go with this one. He's really had 2 sides to his season. He
certainly has. After starting off his career in the A7FL against the BIC back in Week 1, these two teams faced off in Week 1. It was 40-39. Service was impeccable. However, in his playoff debut against the Crush, the team caused him to commit multiple turnovers in their regular season matchup. Service completed 66% of his passes to get a slight win over the Crush, 24-21. Service had some help from Kyle Ward and also the big man DeAndre Haynes. He is going to need his offensive line to stand up today, especially when they're facing this offense. Sterry Codrington alongside Ashante Worthy. But it's not just Ashante Worthy. It's not just that man. It's Kesan Campbell. Both of these receivers have set records or reset their own records this year. Ashante and Sterry, again, an amazing combo. This BIC offense, Corey, more wide open than it's ever been.
And with the consistency and availability from both Ashante Worthy and Kesan Campbell, teams have had to try to stop Ashante and failed to stop Campbell. Campbell, right now, leading the league, I believe, and Cole Gardella will correct me on live on air later, I'm sure. Leading the league in receptions, yards, and touchdowns. And maybe a great stat to say that he's the Triple Crown leader for receivers, but an even more insane stat from the BIC offense is the efficiency level of their quarterback, Sterry Codrington, who is not only one of the top rushing threats in the league, but is the most effective passer with his touchdown to interception ratio not being able to clock because it hasn't been tested yet. I don't even know what that ratio is. I think it's infinity at this point, Matt.
He's 6 away from breaking his own record from 2024 with 33 touchdown passes. He needs 5 more this season to tie the record. 6 to break. But let's talk about this man, Ashante Worthy. The first time we saw him return footballs was here against the Animals, got 1 touchdown, and that is how the BIC and the Animals, they face each other off in the regular season. They got done to them in the national championship. They got a little bit of recompense And then this man right here, Kesan Campbell. How good, how much of a revelation has Kesan Campbell been this season to truly possibly be the 1A receiver for this BIC offense?
Well, the way I categorize the two players is Ashanti Worthy is one of the most electrifying playmakers we've seen in this league's history. Kesan Campbell is one of the most polished and solid route runners and open field runners from the wide receiver position that we've seen in a long time. He reminds me of a lot of the real late, not late in the sense of.
And Corey,
life,
I don't mean to cut you off, but in 1 minute's time, we're going to get ready to throw things off. Big Rob Fabian will join us, and when we return, we stop with the talking and we do the play-by-play. We do more talking, but the game is next. Win or go home season in the A7. Welcome back to the A7FL Games of the Week. I'm Matt Ryan. There you see Anthony Service in the biggest game of his A7FL career. I'm joined by Corey Hammond, and also joining us back in the booth after a bit of a long overdue vacation, Big Rob Fabian joining us. The broadcast boys are back for one more run. 5 games left in this A7FL season, and win or go home season. Rob, you've missed a lot today in the lineup for the BIC. We'll see them in a little bit later on. We'll go through some of those names, but big opportunity here for Service and the Renegades. What advice would you give this team going up against what could be the most loaded team in A7FL history in the BIC?
The only advice I'd give Service and company, the Renegades, is make sure everyone that's on that roster shows up today, because this is not one of those games you want to be half-staffed, and there goes the big hat.
I don't know what you're talking about. That's proportional to the size of Will Franklin's head. I don't know what you're talking about.
But yeah, coming in half-staffed or saying such and such didn't show up today, it's not going to be an excuse against a playoff-ready BIC team. It's just not going to work. Renegades struggled. Last game I saw, they struggled a little bit to get past, the Crush, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm. That was the QC Crush 20.
Yeah.
That was 24 to
21.
24 to 21.
Very competitive game, and it looked like, watching that game, it looked like it was all Kyle Ward. Kyle Ward. If not for Kyle Ward, they probably wouldn't even be here right now. So my thing is, if they think they could only rely on one guy to get them through this, and it being Kyle Ward, they have another thing coming. BIC is very playoff ready, so hopefully Service and company have everyone there. Ron Clerk with all his A7FL.
But let's take a look at the frame here. Mo Ramadan, Ole Bell, Carnell Wachter. And then you have Trey Robinson.
From Vegas.
How many generations of A7FL talent on one side, on one cap? These are the captains for today. That is so many generations of champions in this league, so many locations in this league, and a man named Ole Bell who is yet to hold an A7FL championship, but he has got some legendary company joining him, so many all-decade players making their 2025 season debut today, including Matt Riddick. Matt Riddick in the lineup for the first time for the Trenton BIC today, alongside Deontay Henderson and Mark Bagway. them Florida boys have finally touched
confirmed?
down. They are there.
It's been confirmed for months. I'm not going to lie to you.
All right. I'll believe it when I see it, and when I see it, I'll believe it. But here's the thing
And
about
according to Zach Morgan, the biggest Florida skeptic who doesn't believe Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie even exists, it's a Santa Claus situation with my man Zach Morgan, who's on site today with Ryan DePaul. Shout out to our Jersey guys, but they're there.
This is what I'll say about the list of names on a roster. This is a 7-on-7 league. So as great as those guys are going to be to the depth, if the Renegades want to win this game, they have to win the matchups when they are on the field.
That's a fact.
If their frontline guys, their best 7 on offense, best 7 on defense, are continuing to win whoever it is in the light blue jerseys, that's what matters most. And really what I would say is, as we look on to probably the most important player of today's game, if the Renegades are to win, is going to be Service. What he needs to do is focus on one play at a time, and with his speed. Now, that's right, Corey Hammond is saying this. With his speed, what I think he should do is take advantage of the running yards that BIC might avail to him if they rush him and are trying to kind of, get him physically out of there, one might say. If he can take advantage on the ground and force the BIC defense to play more honest against his legs, it will give those one-on-one matchups with guys like Kyle Ward, guys like Mitchell, and guys like my teammate last year, Jimmy Flott. I just saw him on the sideline. As well as sneaking Dondre out on those pass plays. If they stay balanced, run the ball by handing it off, Notorious Enormous Smalls, Super NES, give that man the ball. He's huge. But also, if Service can run, I think that might be the Renegades' best chance on offense to stay with this BIC.
I have such a hot take because I've been talking to guys about Service and what I think about him. I told someone who I thought Service was, and they agreed with me like 1,000%. And Service is a black Corey Hammond that could run, literally. And I compared. I said, "Yo, let's look at Service and go show me Corey Hammond in his prime when we first played him." There's so many similarities; it's almost mind-boggling. And the person I said it to was in 100% agreement. So it's not like that we were making fun of the guy or it was any jokes. Service is a prime Corey Hammond, literally. So
that can run. That's what I was always missing. I was told.
But here we go, boys. It's a 3-on-1 throw-off, and it is Ashante Worthy catching the ball on a dead ball on a free run. He breaks away from 2 defenders, but cannot get away long enough. Is brought down at the 48-yard line, 1st and 10 for Trenton.
And you see Matt Riddick out there to start at wide receiver alongside. Now, that's an interesting move, and I think obviously we all know how great that young man is at football, Matt Riddick. But that he's replacing the leading receiver in the league in every category. So we're going to see how that shakes out.
Let's take a look at the key players for the BIC. Sterry Codrington at quarterback, Kesan Campbell and Ashante Worthy at wideout and DB, Ole Bell in the D-line, and them Florida boys, Deontay Henderson and Mark Bagway. And that might be a free play. Ashante Worthy gets past the 50, and that'll be 2nd down, a gain of about 5. And it looked like the Renegades jumped the line a bit there, Corey, but we will move on, and it will be 2nd down.
Well, we'll see if they go backwards or forwards, but what they do is they use the speed of what it says on his back, meep. They put him in a jet motion action, and that freezes the defense because you have to honor that. And one of the most dangerous guys to give a quick screen to if you're going to block for it is Ashante Worthy. The Renegades are lucky they've only given up 4 there, but that's a staple play in the BIC offense as they bring in Bone for maybe a quarterback run play, Rob?
Possible. Some more protection.
Trey Cohen at the bottom of your screen. Codrington snaps it. Launches this downfield to Trey Cohen, but Cohen cannot get there in time. It'll be 3rd and 6. Had the play scouted, the defender was right above him. Cohen could have caught that one, but just was not able to get there in time, Rob.
And the Renegades are doing what I was hoping they do. Bring everyone. The Renegades that we've seen from the last couple of weeks is not the Renegades that played and almost beat BIC in the beginning of the season. Now, these guys, these 6-foot behemoths that I'm looking at, this looks like the team. Yeah, 7 foot. This looks like the team that gave BIC a run for their money earlier in the season. So this is the game I'm really here to watch.
It'll be 3rd and 6, 13:08 and counting. First quarter. Watch the matchup at the bottom of your screen. You see Shante Worthy. Trey Robinson set up, and he will get the ball. He will carry it, and he will be stopped. Just a gain of 1, and it will be 4th down for the BIC. The Renegades defense stepping up, the big bodies doing a lot of damage.
That's a great play from the Renegades defensive line, but the play call, guys, is total disrespect. BIC thought that they were going to walk in there on 3rd and 6, which is mostly a passing down, especially when you have a quarterback that can run for it. And they went with a power formation and a simple, easy dive with no misdirection, no nothing. They said, we're going to beat you, Renegades. Renegades were up to the task on 3rd down, but it brings up 4th, and they come out with the same formation.
4th and 5. 2 tight ends set up. Robinson set up left. They will play action. Codrington with time throws it deep to Worthy. Worthy looking and gets the flag. Pass. And the Renegades defense were susceptible last week to give up those pass interference plays. It helped save the Crush a couple of times, especially on 4th down. Rob, when you look at your secondary in that situation, you have the BIC's offense against the wall. How frustrating is it to see a penalty like that?
It's a little frustrating, especially if it's a spot penalty. I hope it's not. But it's going to definitely get them that 1st down. And the problem is here that BIC's offensive line is right now, if they get that push and they can hold for Kasteri, Ashanti's dangerous, and you might have to get the flag to give up, getting that touchdown because he's dangerous in the open field. But the Renegades defensive line have to get more pressure on Sterry to disrupt anything he got going on.
1st and 10, spotted at the 25 after the penalty. Codrington will hand this off to Trey Robinson, and Robinson, who's been a Swiss Army knife for the BIC, bounces to the outside, gets near the 5, and will get out of play. 11:31 left to go. And we take a look at an early, as they spotted the ball from earlier. Corey, you got to love what Trey Robinson is bringing to this BIC offense, doing a lot of what Courage Mosey used to do as not necessarily a bell cow running back, but a guy who can push through and power run. He's not getting the same amount of carries as a Courage Mosey, but he has been a Ron Dane-like option for this BIC offense.
Yeah, and you see here he makes the first man miss, and that's really the key.
And it will be 1st down.
You look at the coverage on the wide receivers way off of Ashanti Worthy.
Whistle on the play. False start on the offense, so they'll go back 5 yards. It'll remain 1st and goal.
And it's interesting. Go ahead, Rob. It is interesting.
It's funny. It's interesting. Hey, we're in sync. The interesting part about both of these teams is when watching film, they're notoriously slightly weaker at the cornerback position than most other top tier teams, and to see them trying to test each other's chin like that is very interesting. Phenomenal run by Trey Robinson, by the way. Wow.
Yeah, that play should have went nowhere, and he made a great move.
He made it happen.
I appreciate what you're saying, Matt. I've never seen Ron Dane do that.
Fair enough. Neither did I, and I'm a Giant fan. And that's a throw to Worthy, and Worthy will get tripped up inside the 10. And that'll be 2nd down.
Yeah, that's a huge tackle because I saw it on the previous play. Now, they get an offsides penalty in BIC and go back, so it's 1st and goal from further back. But they're playing off Ashanti Worthy, probably 6-7 yards. And when a quick screen is a staple play, and Ashanti Worthy is really hard to tackle when he's in front of you, that's a great open field tackle to force them to actually have to complete a pass further downfield, and it'll bring up 2nd and goal after the great play on defense for the Renegades.
And Rob, I want you to think on this play on 2nd and goal. Damon Small and DeAndre Haynes, 2 big weapons on offense out there for the Renegades on defense, and he couldn't hold on to the ball. Cohen's gloves doing him dirty. It'll be 3rd down, and he's going to take a walk to reflect and possibly put a hole in the wall. Another one gets added to the Asbury Park monument. It will be 3rd and goal.
That's definitely rough. You don't ever want to be in that position right there in the red zone, dropping a pass like that.
And playing receiver, there's 2 halves to the play. He was wide open because it was a great route, but then you got to catch it.
You have to catch that ball.
The ball was a little behind him, but it was definitely catchable. He probably
touched his hands. You know the rules, man.
Riddick out there in place of Cohen. Skylar Lash marked himself as eligible. The handoff to Robinson. Robinson runs right into a wood chipper, gets the ball to the 5, and it'll be 4th and goal. Another pivotal 4th down play on this drive as the BIC
weird play call on 3rd down.
Look to either make it 6 or make the Renegades offense sojourn 95 yards as Damon Small and DeAndre Haynes remain out there on the Renegades defensive line, despite being 2 pulse points on the Renegades offense. 8:34.
Ashanti Worthers in the slot has that same speed out all day on my young man friend here. I'm not going to call him out yet.
Codrington on 4th and goal, tosses this one back. Robinson will rotate around. He will throw the end zone. Touchdown, BIC. Trey Robinson gets the lucky dribble like he did in Bullhead, lets it serve his purpose. Touchdown to Worthy, and it's 6-0 Trenton.
I call that one. That is a speed option call, which give the Renegades credit. That's a play that Sterry Codrington runs in his sleep, and he executes all the time. But he doesn't execute it like that. But because the pitch is backwards and the offensive line didn't go too far downfield, Trey Robinson, a former quarterback in his own right, heads up play here to keep this play going. It's 4th down, so why not?
Right.
And, of course, who does he find wide open in the end zone when BIC needs him in the playoffs?
The one you don't need wide open in the end zone at all.
What a just another BIC broken play made into something. Robinson turning that from 1st and 10 for the Renegades into 6 points for the BIC.
But I'll tell you what, that drive from the Renegades is a great sign. Now, that sounds weird to allow a touchdown on the opening drive, but BIC was not able to complete a pass. The first downs were converted on a pass interference penalty on 4th down, which, just don't commit the penalty, you'll be fine. All of the other plays that BIC was trying to gain yards with were runs. There were drops. BIC's pass game does not look like it's doing the right thing. And it leads to this championship point when it was definitely a stop from the Renegades that just so happened to turn into 6 points on 4th down. Great play, but also a good sign from the Renegades defense that they could stand the test against this really tough offense.
But nearly eating up half the first quarter did the BIC. And the Renegades, they're not a team that's 3 plays in a 6-point game. We've seen them eat a lot of clock during this season, especially against the Crush. And there's a challenge, and it's being reviewed. It is a scoring play. It was a lateral. It did not go forward. It went backwards or a lateral.
And you can see none of the offensive line are like in the end zone waving for the ball, right?
No.
So there's no
and Skylar Lash was an eligible receiver. He did declare. I saw him declare before the ball was snapped. So they're challenging an ineligible man downfield.
Wow.
Shout outs to Ron Clerk there with the camera now.
The general manager who won a championship in 2016 with the Trenton BIC and a young Robert Fabian. We'll take a brief time out, and when we return, we'll have this resolved. It's 6-0, or the Renegades might get a little bit of help. It's the A7FL playoffs. Stay right where you are. We're back live with the A7FL Games of the Week, and it seems like the call will stand unless we're looking at a replay. And it is a 1 point. It is a 1 point attempt. The touchdown stands. And it will. Codrington will just run this one in, and it will be 7-0 as the BIC. Make it a 7-0 lead. Matt Ryan joined alongside Corey Hammond and big Rob Fabian. That call stands. And I was getting some intel from some people during the commercial break who were pondering what that call could have been or why they would have called the challenge, but now the Renegades burn a timeout. They lose a timeout early, and now, Corey, we've seen them waste almost half the first quarter, but you think that this might be a positive for the Renegades?
Well, one of the things that the Renegades are going to have to do is match the total scoring output, obviously, by the end of the game of Trenton, BIC. And although the first time these two teams played, it was in the 40s, I think the Renegades benefit more from a mid-20s, low 30s type of scoring output. So the more that Trenton takes to score, if they do, I think, and maybe I'm wrong, but I think that actually benefits the Renegades because, again, if you're scoring quick, how are you really attacking? Usually in the air with deep plays.
Right.
The Renegades defense, to me, their weakness is their secondary. So if you're able to force BIC to run the ball and churn up yardage, chunk by chunk by chunk, that means that your defensive backs are probably playing pretty well, or at least making the tackle when somebody gives up a catch. So it's a good sign for East Orange, even though they're down 7-0, because that was a great play by Trey Robinson.
Dwan Williams throws this one off for the Renegades. That is caught by Kyle Ward. Kyle Ward looking to replicate what he did last week. Kyle Ward breaks out. Kyle Ward will get pushed out of play at the 40, and it will be 1st and 10 for the Renegades. But, Rob, Kyle Ward was almost off to the races there.
Definitely was. And, Corey, I couldn't agree with you more. BIC is a high-scoring machine. If they are slowed down by any defense, they have to start looking towards their special teams to make something happen in order to open things up. And we've seen this a number of times. BIC is going to score. It's guaranteed. It's the frequency in which they can score, in which you can match them, slow them down, and be able to do the same.
It'll be 1st and 10.
And I think number 14 is not Soltis. That's Deontay Henderson.
Oh, my goodness.
Deontay.
So Soltis is going to be making some big plays today.
The snap, the handoff, and he
Oh,
meets
my
Deontay Henderson, who ankle bites the front.
That's a big boy, though.
That's Mo Francis, and
Listen.
that's great. That's great filling of the hole from Deontay Henderson. But guess what? Once he found what he found, he said, I gotta get my shoulders back to you.
He said, wait a second.
I gotta get him.
Jersey boys big.
It's a McChicken. It's only $3.29.
That's what pork roll will do to you.
$3.29.
Inflation, brother.
Inflation. Look at how they meet. He reads it well. Then boom.
Oh,
That's a big boy. Come on, you ain't in Florida no more, Deontay. Let's go.
Oh, don't. Come on.
Yeah,
that Jersey water different.
Don't do that to him. Don't do that to him.
I want smoke.
Yeah, that's why I thought you were late. I thought you were out there in a light blue jersey.
2nd and 3. Service will keep it. Service will be met by Ramadan. Ramadan brings him down with a little help from Bell, but that will be enough for a 1st down. But
running game.
But Anthony Service, if he's going to be eating attacks like that from Ole Bell and Mo Ramadan all game long, and you throw Corey.
Listen, if you said he's like Corey Hammond to start the game, Rob, he could do that.
Corey,
right?
It's like meeting all of your ghosts at once.
Real, bro. It's not.
Yeah, and I always got back up.
But you don't want to get hit by Mo Ramadan in the beginning of the game. It's just not.
I'll actually disagree with you. You want to get hit. You want to get it out of the way.
This defensive lineup is like the quarterback version of an intervention. It's 1st and 10. The snap, the handoff to Francis. Francis will find his way, and he is brought down by Taj Tomino.
And it seems like no matter who BIC brings, they just are not good against the run.
It's just the bodies. It's the amount of bodies there. Who do you put in that spot? Rob, you know offensive line play and scheming better than me and better than Corey. What is it that you can do conversely to put a stop to that running game? Because the offensive line is just setting up room as you see Isaac Negron getting fit for a new shiesty on that one.
I mean, honestly, it's not what you can do. It's your defensive line play. Everybody looks so ferocious before the play, but they're getting manhandled.
Service keeps it. The block set up, and he will get the first down and find his way out around the 33.
Corey called it,
and
man.
that's the problem, Matt. It's not that these guys aren't capable of making plays. It's that when you have to account for the quarterback in the run game, which is why I kept getting cut from those teams, I guess, right? If you have to account for the quarterback that's going to attack and gain yards in the run play, that's going to open up holes for Mo Francis. And you see there, that was the design quarterback keep. You fake the ball to the big running back to freeze the defensive line so they can't get penetration, and the pulling offensive lineman gets in front of Service and allows him to get the edge. This is textbook running from a team that to me, most of the year has been pass first.
But now it is now an empty backfield. Kyle Ward out there. The screen almost picked off. That one almost got taken by Michael Amankwa.
No, that's not not who that is. I'm pretty sure that's the man that we keep talking about, and there he shows up. He's 6'5", he plays quarterback, and he normally wears number 8. And that time he almost took it for 6 on a quick screen, and you got to have eyes on a player like that because he's been anxious to get on an A7FL field.
Have we ever seen a reverse Baltimore special before? Because that's what that was.
That's what that was going to be. He is fast.
That boy fast. First and 15 after the false start.
Like, it's called a quick screen. You know that. It's called a quick screen. He got there before the quick screen. Yeah, he's fast.
Service snaps the ball. They hand off again, but this time met by Bell, met by a litany of human beings. Well, Henderson helping in on the tackle. Isaac Negron and a member of the offensive line. I believe that's either John Munro or Robert Izzard. I couldn't catch the number.
They're getting chippy.
I think they might get some of this yardage back. And
that was John Munro.
Getting a little chippy.
But one of the things is when you have a smaller running back that's shiftier like they just went to, then it's easier to make that open field tackle at full speed because you're not worried about the power. What Mo Francis was doing is he was attacking that gap that he was responsible for with or without the ball at full speed at, will be nice, 260. When you're 170, Ole Bell can grip you with one hand and bring you down. But the penalty's offset, and it's 1st and 15 again.
2 wide receivers set. Watch the space there at the top of your screen. Look how much space they're giving the wide receiver the throw. And that one, incomplete, and that space might have been a good thing. Kyle Ward, the intended receiver.
Yeah, but that's the bread and butter of Service when he is feeling it, when he is in rhythm. He's going to complete that 6-yard, 3-step hook every single day of the week, and that's Kyle Ward. So it's obviously a guy that he has a comfortability level with. It was wide open, so all he has to do is throw a chest pass right to his face so that it's a completion, and then we can see what Kyle Ward can do after the catch. But that's as good as the running has been for the Renegades. That's a bad sign. Maybe just get the little jitters out on that first play because after that quick screen, maybe a little yips going on in a quarterback that's like, man, a quick screen's going to get jumped on like that. But now it's 3rd and 15, and he better not give it to the defense because they're looking for it now.
Empty backfield. The snap on 3rd down. Here comes the pressure. The throw deep to DeAndre Hayes.
My.
Did he catch it in
Yes,
bounds?
he did.
Oh, he did. He definitely did.
The big man, he is tall, he is graceful, he is leaving defenses feeling distasteful. 1st down Renegades as the clock continues to run in the first quarter.
So Service misses on the easiest pass of his day and makes an absolute bucket drop on his second opportunity. Look, that's not bad coverage. That play defensively was executed by BIC, who was putting pressure, and Isaac was bearing down on the quarterback. Service just said, sorry, guys. And to quote a friend, he's just better on that play. And it'll be 1st and goal.
Small will be set up on...
Oh, excuse me, 1st and 10.
1st down. Set up at the 15. Small set up to the right of Service. Watch Kyle Ward at the bottom of your screen. Watch Henderson looking to come through, and he might have jumped the line.
Yeah, they definitely jumped.
Henderson wanting to say hello to Damon Small. One of the more... We didn't talk about that as a potential matchup, but holy moly, those two human beings running at each other. That's like what we got in New Zealand going on.
Run it.
Run it.
That's a Marvel situation. That's the only thing that I could think of. I thought you were going to say like Hulk or Juggernaut or something.
That's it too.
But you saw what the adjustment that BIC so far has made to, now it didn't work, they were offsides. But if they send the pressure and don't wait and just shoot the gap, you saw the indecision there from the quarterback who has to read on that read option, and they go right out of the run look into a spread. And that is an interesting matchup. The Kyle Ward had a great game, and guess what? Somebody flew up from Florida to cover him. That's Mark Bagway.
1st and 5. And there's a run from Service. Service sets to the outside.
This is great offensive play call, and I'm not going to lie to you. What I'm seeing here is they got everybody on the field, but they still know BIC's weak against the run. You make sure you get the guys that can make the short tackle out of the way, and you get that speed quarterback keep to the left like that. Yeah. You got Mark Bagway.
Well, guess who runs that play like at least 3 times a game?
Who?
It's BIC with Sterry Codrington.
That's a fact.
To that same side, the left side. But this is what I'll say. If we look at that replay eventually, we're not going to get it now because they're going to be about to call the play, and I'm still talking. But if Service cuts it back inside and kind of puts his shoulder down.
It's 6.
He can't do that if he wants to beat BIC. He has to get yards. This is the play.
We've seen the Renegades have trouble inside the 10-yard line. Let's see.
That's the running back that they should be giving it to right there in the backfield for them. Super NES.
The handoff to Small. Small hits it, but gets brought down. Boom! Shaka laka. My goodness.
And that's Deontay Henderson again making the read and filling the hole, but again, at least in this first quarter, missing the initial tackle. So that's a great play by both guys. But you see, not only do we talk about the physical abilities of Deontay Henderson,
they did not get the first down. It's hole. 3rd down. It is 3rd. They did enough to stop the first, though.
And you're right. He is missing, quote-unquote, the first. But he's hitting them so hard that there's no way they don't get taken down by second contact, number 1.
He's filling the hole, and that's his job.
Yeah, that's his job. He's doing his job. My goodness, what a hit.
3rd and short.
3rd down. Service on his bicycle. Service meets the tackler. He gets the ball knocked out. That's H3 Frazier, but that's enough for a first down.
That's the difference, though. That's the difference. Service will not put his shoulder down.
At the end of the first 15 minutes, the BIC have the lead, but the Renegades have the momentum and the ball inside the 5. When we return, it's the start of the 2nd frame. Who walks out next? We're back here, in this edition of the A7FL Playoffs is brought to you by GatorTech. Get more protected on the field with the Gator Skin Shiesty, shown to reduce concussion risk by up to 79%. This protective Shiesty is engineered with absorption material to help keep you safer during high-impact hits. Visit G8RTech.com and use code A7FL25 for 10% off today. You see that? As it is first, as the action continues here. The Renegades looking to get on the board. The handoff to Damon Small. Small stopped, stalled, and brought down behind the line. Deontay Henderson, Ole Bell, and number 14, I believe that's Kevin White, in on the stop.
Yeah, I know Smalls wasn't expecting that kind of play at the goal line pretty much. He's a goal line monster. The guy's one of the biggest running backs I've seen in this league overall. And to be stopped like that.
Here's the problem. He gets stopped on his forward momentum, man, because they're in the side hip shotgun. If he's in a pistol,
Corey.
It's not when he's standing next to him as opposed to behind service. He can't get that running start.
You want that running start to get that impact? I don't think Smalls wants to do that all game.
After that stop by Henderson, just the amount of bodies on the line. Service looking to carry, and he will get it in there.
Wow, that was smart. Yo, their play calling is crazy.
And that's the
play
same
calling
speed,
is crazy.
That's the same speed option that Sterry Codrington takes advantage of almost all the time against other teams. And now BIC has to eat their own medicine, because what do you do there?
But
Who do you go for?
But here it is, gentlemen.
Go?
Here is where the Renegades faltered against the BIC, and where most teams have faltered. Championship points, Big Rob, you scored it the best. It's 7-6. We see Service here on the touchdown for the Renegades.
Great block on Deontay Henderson.
That's a phenomenal block on Deontay Henderson.
That's
Great
a combo
call.
block to the second level?
Yeah, that's nasty. He passed them up. Like, bro, you don't even see
I know a
see
couple
that.
NFL teams that can use guys like that. I'm going to be honest.
That was
not
impressive.
an offensive lineman that can actually do that in game, and against a guy like Deontay Henderson.
Bagway's back out there, gentlemen, and right here we see Ward on Bagway on Ward. The snap, the extra point attempt. Service, he husses him out of his shoes, and we've got a tie game. Anthony Service's legs getting the Renegades out of trouble and tying this one up.
You called it.
The first quarter was all about distance, and Corey Hammond was prophetic here. Who will go to Vegas? Who will go fishing? That is the narrative here today. Next week, it will be the top two seeds from the East and the top two seeds from the West. But we see here again, just oof.
He just hussed them out of his shoes and socks. It's a simple move just to get in there and get them championship points. It's necessary.
Moving in the pocket, if you can do it, it's effective.
If you want to be a part of the conversation, if you got something to say to me, Rob, or Corey, or you just want to tell us what you think of the game, go to Locker Room Chat. Go to a7fl.com/chat and download today, whether you're on Apple, Android, or whatever device you use. Go to a7fl.com/chat. Download Locker Room Chat. Drop a comment. Get a shout out. Download Locker Room Chat today.
And here's where I'm saying BIC's best friend is right here in the special teams. If Ashanti can rattle a couple of touchdowns
and
off
that one's
here,
thrown out of play, and that is a dead ball run for Ashante Worthy. But Damon Small's out there, and that man can lay the shoulder in, Rob.
Yeah,
well, it's easier. It's easier when the returner has the little bit of the distraction of having to catch the ball. When you start running full speed, that's a bad sign. And just for fans at home that are new, these 3-on-1 type throw-offs after the touchdown, it's got to stay in bounds, or you're going to give the returner an advantage, and he could start with the ball in hand at the 25 and be able to try to pick apart your 3-on-1 coverage.
Worthy gets around the first level, tries to get past Ward, cannot, and he will be stopped, but a moderate gain, some decent field position. But my question to you guys is utilizing Damon Small almost on every snap. Utilizing DeAndre Haynes on almost every snap. You see Worthy checking his jaw there. That's not what you want to see.
Matt, if not now, when?
When?
Is what I would say.
When?
Because look,
you have to.
In the existence of the Renegades, have they ever had a better shot to be
this is the shot.
National championship contender? So listen, Notorious Enormous Smalls, Super NES, is one of their best players. So
Kesan
if not
Campbell,
now,
finally out there for the BIC. He is there in the slot. In motion was Matt Riddick. Codrington underneath to Campbell. Campbell makes the man miss. He gets the sideline. MIA, slip and slide. He takes it to the house.
That's rough, bro.
That's so rough because it was an 8-yard cushion, and it's just a simple out route that, to be fair to Sterry Codrington, was thrown on time, but not perfectly accurate. But because of the cushion and the separation that he gets off the break, this, what some might call a duck, others would call a long touchdown, becomes an easy play for the league leader in receiving yards, touchdowns, and receptions. Come on, Renegades, after a great first drive, you give up the GOAT on one single out route?
But I mean, it's Kesan
Haven't
Campbell.
you played against me long enough?
That makes it 5 away from tying Zareel Wright's reception record. It also has him possibly he might have broken or just gotten near Ashante Worthy's receiving yards in a season.
It's crazy.
What's Zareel Wright's record that he got this year?
Yeah, 41. Going for one is the BIC. Codrington throws it, and that one was intended for Matt Riddick or Ashante Worthy, and it ends up with number 464.
Championship points.
Yeah, that might have been crucial.
Sterry, take off the gloves.
But Kesan Campbell, again, at this point, are we surprised? BIC is running a wide receiver core with a bunch of 1A receivers.
None of them have ever been a 1A for real. But that's the thing. When you have that many, how do you even talk about TPG Sports, Matt?
TPG Sports is the official uniform provider of the A7FL. If you want a custom athletic uniform or a custom A7FL uniform, go to tpg-sports.com. That's tpg-sports.com. Go to where it's always effort over excuses. The official uniform provider of the A7FL, tpg-sports.com.
Uh-oh. There he is.
Mark Bagway. Mark Bagway about to throw it off, wearing the number and the jersey of an A7FL legend. I think Kenny Stansbury might have known what he was doing when he gave Mark Bagway that jersey, and that one is caught by Kyle Ward inside the 15. Ward giving chase. Bagway, though, will stifle him at the 32, gets a bit of help on the tackle, and that is Isaac Gomez. It looked like he might have got poked in the eye. Isaac Gomez, a really special player on the 3-on-1 defense side. We'll take a brief timeout. Oh, no, we'll stay with the action here. We'll stay with the action. My apologies. After the injury on the play. 13-7, the BIC getting the lead back. A much quicker drive than what started off this game for the BIC. If you're the Renegades, you've got a decent field position. You've been utilizing the run game very effectively. At what point do you try to test the Kyle Ward counterpunch? It worked with DeAndre Haynes on that last drive to set up the score. They ate up a huge chunk of yards with the pass play. But how do you test that against a BIC defense that is coming after Anthony Service?
I mean, you could test that right now with that BIC defense being a little exhausted. They just left the field just to have to come back right away. You get what I'm saying? So it's Service and company are putting drives together.
The snap, Service meets the pressure underneath to Ward. Ward slips out of the hands of Bagway, but the tackle there by number 14, and it will be 2nd and 1. A big chunk of yardage there from Kyle Ward.
And I'm sorry about this, Corey. This is the last thing I'll say. I always remember this quote, and Matt, you kind of touched on it earlier, and so did you, Corey. Only 7 can play. So right now, if I'm going through A7FL history books and I'm reading off the names that's on this BIC defense, there's some people that wouldn't even want to step in front of this team because of the names that are here. But
Renegades don't care.
Nah, they don't.
2nd and 1. Running back set to the right of Service. The snap. Service met with pressure. He will roll out, flag on the play. We will see what happens here. Out of reach of the running back, and it will either be 3rd and 1, 1st and 10, or 3rd and an uncomfortable amount. Corey.
Yeah, you like where Service's head was at, looking for the running back leaking out. It's smart, but the penalty actually is holding on the offense. So the problem there now is one of the things that I was going to say, and then Rob was talking about the list of the names, if the Renegades want to have a successful drive, they just can't get that negative play, that sack, that rush that's called running play for like a 4 or 5 yard loss, because going backwards against a defense like this puts them in the position that they want to be in. They want to pin their ears back, try to put pressure on your quarterback and force a mistake, whether it's an incompletion by you missed them or interception, stuff like that. Now, the other interesting development, if you watch, Mark Bagway, a star player in this league at even quarterback, has taken the job of stopping Kyle Ward. He's basically been his shadow the entire game.
2nd and 11, the handoff met by Ole Bell will stop him. The ball's tossed back to Service, and Service gets cleared out on the sideline. H3 Frazier going hunting for Service. That'll be a moderate gain, but it will be 3rd down.
Corey's making the face. You don't want your quarterback taking hits like that.
No, I do.
I don't.
You don't.
If Service is my quarterback, he's not getting hit like that. I would be pissed.
Frazier saying that he went for the wrap. We'll see.
Let's see.
Let's look at Service's demeanor as the ball is about to be pitched to him, because what I usually scream is no. No.
Frazier does go to wrap, but it is low. It
doesn't look good. He does go to wrap, though.
I think
I can say that.
In all forms of football, we're extremely hard on these defensive players that are doing their best to just try to make the play.
The flag is waved off. It'll be 3rd and 7.
I see what they saw to throw the flag, but Frazier is very disciplined in that aspect. I saw what they saw.
I saw what they saw too. They saw a quarterback. They saw a quarterback get hit, and their first initial reaction was like, "Hold up, there has to be something wrong with this."
Flag,
no, it was fine. It was fine.
3rd and 7, empty backfield. The throw over the middle. Kyle Ward met by Bagway. Kyle Ward breaks off Bagway, and Ward is met by Frazier. The 1st down and then some, brought down at the 39. Kyle Ward making a case for MVP. Every time that man touches the ball, magic happens.
And that's one of the best throws in Service's repertoire. That was the 2-point conversion that would have won the game. It's the same thing.
That's a fact.
It was deeper, but the slant pass that he throws with pressure in his face, it's so perfect. That's a tight window, and if he's behind on that play, that's a guy that almost took a quick screen for a touchdown. So not only does Kyle Ward run into the teeth of the defense on 3rd and 7 with the slant route, and that's a very brave thing to do. Service throws an absolute dime to give him an opportunity at run after the catch.
The snap, the handoff. Service will keep it. Anthony Service gets past H3 Frazier. Slide.
Go in the end zone.
Oh, my God.
Touchdown, Renegades!
Oh, I'm so scared for this guy when he runs the ball, bro.
Don't be, because that is how you beat BIC, is doing exactly things like that. Because how do you account for that? That's a pass
there's a
play.
flag. A flag on the play. This one might get brought back.
Sprung.
Oh, no.
Let's break down if
holding on the offense.
Listen to what I'm saying to y'all very carefully, bro.
That's
a hold. That's a hold. When
I didn't say it wasn't.
Listen, when I see it on the other side and it's not called as aggressively as it is on this side, I'm not going to be able to not say anything. It's absurd. That was a holding call, 100%. But it happens on the other side, and there's never a call. That's all I'm saying.
But the fact that he takes
blue
off,
jerseys get pulled.
Yeah. Well,
maybe.
Listen, it's obviously a penalty because the refs called it and they moved back and the touchdown doesn't count. So whether the refs call it or not, I do like the idea there that you're going for. Now, Dondre, just bend your knees a little bit. I know you're tall. Stop using your fingertips to block people. Use your palms. But when a quarterback is able to attack upfield in tight man coverage like that when you're blitzing him, now the defense has to think, is this a good way to try to stop the Renegades? And that changes their whole flow. But even though it's going to be 1st and 20 and they're sitting in the driver's seat in this drive.
1st and 20 of the snap. Service throws this one off his back foot. Not able to get there, but there will be a flag.
It's a flag.
Wow. And if you're going to do something against Deontay Henderson, who has been a cerebral master in this game, everywhere he needs to be on every play, maybe put him in coverage against the guy who's just as big, taller, and maybe a half step quicker. And that's a great throw off your back foot from Service to force the flag.
So it is
Honestly,
pass interference on the defense.
Honestly, that's probably a smart play by Henderson to commit the penalty.
It's 15 yards, so it gives the BIC, it gives the Renegades offense more yards to go for. They give them more yards than anything, but
if Smalls catches that, what's the outcome of the play?
6.
So again, another cerebral play from Henderson as his legs gets up to his prowess and knowledge of the game of football. I mean, his shoulder has been there. He's just got to wrap him up and finish the plays. But this is in a playoff game like this, in which we would say the guys with the Northeast belt, for instance, if this was a boxing match, are BIC. After a haymaker that they just got to the body, Renegades, giving up that touchdown, this is a really nice answer with a counter punch right back to the body of BIC.
It shows they're not scared. It shows no matter what happens, they're still looking forward to the next play. That's great.
They're not here to
mentality.
play and have fun. They're here to win this game, and they're showing that they can if they keep this up.
Great mentality to have right now against a team like BIC.
3 on the line. Service on 1st and 10. Slapped into the air and kicked away.
Ooh, that adjustment from BIC is dangerous because Trey Robinson, if I'm not mistaken, started at the kind of outside linebacker defensive end edge rush position. So when you run the slant underneath him, Service's mind is thinking, that's a rusher. I don't have to account for him in the pass coverage. Well, another thing that reminds me of Corey Hammond with him, that can go for 6 if you don't see that read. And when it's a guy like Trey Robinson that plays quarterback and running back when he's on offense, he's lucky that didn't go for 6 points for Trenton.
Right. Very dangerous.
2nd and 10 after Robinson swatted that one away.
Yeah, he's like playing D tackle.
Looks like Ward, the running back set to the left. Play action. Service will keep it. Service finds his way.
God.
Tries to get the first down. They will call him out at the 10. They will give him the first down. So it'll be 1st and goal again.
So where Service is getting him, because he's so fast, he's actually allowing his offensive line and his blockers to get in position before he makes any cuts or any reads. So it kind of always looks perfect because he's very fast. He can outrun the blockers and get tackled before the play, but he's allowing the play to develop and allowing his guy. I love quarterbacks and running backs like that because it makes me look good as an offensive lineman. I get to get in space and hold the guy up, and you get to make magic happen.
And what his speed does is it forces the defender to have to kind of play back because he's so fast. You want to see which way he's going because you now have to react to his speed.
Because if you take
he goes upfield,
he's
going to score more on the ground, especially.
The snap, the throw, and both the receiver and the defender couldn't keep their feet under them. It'll be 2nd down. Bagway on the coverage.
That's a tough throw because you have to throw that high and far enough that Mark Bagway can't jump and catch that. So even though it looked like he way overthrew his receiver, with the end zone being kind of the back defender and Mark Bagway smartly playing shallow, that might not be that far from a perfect throw because guess what? Even though there was a rusher in his face and he almost had a touchdown, the worst case scenario when you release the ball there is, especially off your back foot, is an incompletion. And I will be honest, in this first half against one of the toughest defenses that this young man could have faced this season, Anthony Service looks like he's up to the task.
Second down. Timeout called. Timeout called by the Renegades. That's their second charge timeout. And it looks like they were trying to adjust to what the BIC defense was throwing at them. Hypothetical question for you gentlemen. We've seen Sterry Codrington play at safety and corner quite a few times this season. At some point, do you experiment with Mark Bagway at quarterback and Sterry Codrington in the secondary?
The only reason why I wouldn't is because Mark Bagway looks like he's carrying a couple more bags than he has in the last couple of seasons. I'm not saying anything it does to his speed. He might be a little stronger, but I wouldn't mess things up. I wouldn't change anything. I would leave things where they are.
Well, it's also indicative of what we saw at the wide receiver position in the first drive. How did BIC get here? They got here throwing the ball to Kesan Campbell for almost record-setting receptions.
He's
Apparently,
25 yards away.
Apparently, a wide receiver on my team this year is the guy you're referencing. So, and I don't think he did it with Snow Tribe.
No, it was from this year. It was receptions was this year.
Nice. Well, so that's what I'm saying. When you take out Kesan Campbell and put in Matt Riddick, you lose what Kesan Campbell did on his first appearance. His only play as an offensive player in this game so far was a touchdown. So if you take the quarterback out, sounds good in practice, but I don't know if that's what you do.
2nd and 10. Service in
Campbell's
trouble. Throws it off the
Wow.
hands of Jerry Baisden, the top shark.
He's a ground shark at that point. He's an angel shark, which is a bottom dweller that hides in the sand and feeds on horn sharks. Check out the new season of Planet Earth 3.
Somebody's been watching their Animal Planet.
Here's my only issue.
Offsides on the defense.
One of my only issues about the way these teams are run at this point, with all the depth you have for BIC, somehow, some way, Kesan Campbell, who is arguably your number one receiver, has to go back and play either safety or corner for you.
And on the one touch he's gotten so far today, Rob, he's got the touchdown that gave them the lead.
Why is everybody here?
Well, this is one of the things that, in my opinion, now, call me biased. I probably am. But when you do this super team, like let's just get a whole bunch of guys and just everybody go out there,
right,
you lose some of the chemistry that is built over a course of a long season to build a unit, not just a group of individuals.
They switch things up. 2nd and 5 after the offsides.
They could do speed option.
And they go for the handoff, and Damon Small is brought down at the 5.
Guess who it is again in the middle?
Henderson has changed his point of attack. He said, okay, that's a big boy. I'm not about to go shoulder for shoulder, belly for belly with this guy.
And guess what name on the listed names you could just plug and play anywhere? It's probably a middle linebacker that has a nose for the football and a, we'll say, hankering for contact.
You see here again on the replay. Just goes right for him.
Bites right for the legs.
That's just football. Like if you could just tell me what football is with one image, it's that right there.
No gain on the play. 3rd and 5. Small set to the left of Service.
That's definitely speed option.
They toss it to Small. No, Service keeps it, and he gets it to the end zone. Touchdown, Renegades. They tie this one up.
Oh, that fake pitch. Even a guy like me would get away with it because the defense has to react. And the reason that I knew right before the play was called that it's speed option is you see the width from Smalls in the backfield. He's super wide because now you're attacking both the edge and the outside. And when the defense knows they at least need 1 or 2 hats to the ball to tackle Smalls, all you have to do is get that little fake, take the seam, and that 6-yard touchdown is now Service's 2nd rushing touchdown of the game. And they're going to look to take the lead here with the championship point. It looks like they're going to go from the 1.
That's where they went from.
From the 5 for the 1.
Going the 5 from the 1. You have an option from the 5-yard line or the 10-yard line for 1 or for 2. Service going for 1 from the 5. Met by trouble. That ball swatted down by Henderson. And it's 13-13, a tie game, 4:54 left to go. Ashante Worthy and an untimed down coming to us on the other side of this. When we return, we wrap up the first half and see who walks into halftime with the lead or if we're keeping this one tied. It's the A7FL playoffs. Where are you going? We're back with the A7FL playoffs, and this is brought to you by GatorTech. Get more protected with a Gator Skin Shiesty. Sign up, find out more info, and get 10% off right now at G8RTech.com. That's G8RTech.com, and the code A7FL25, or scan the QR code now. Damon Small set to throw it off as Ashante Worthy will be receiving the 3-on-1 throw off, an untimed down.
Well, missed championship point. But Rob, I think this is the perfect time for you to do your every game of the week. You'd say the thing about the championship points in close games. Go.
If you don't get the championship points, you might lose the game.
And it's probably going to happen to the first that loses serve. But here's
not
service.
Wow. Bounces into the end zone and will bounce into the back of the end zone. Worthy will
He might take this out.
Ashante Worthy.
He's trolling.
Hey, buddy.
Ashante Worthy trying to do. Oh nope, he'll just fall down, and they will pick it up. They will pick up action at the 20.
He's a maniac for even trying that.
I don't like when I see nonchalante Worthy. You know what I'm saying? I love to see the gremlin inside of like game ready to rip your heart out. Ashante Worthy.
Oh
I do like the composure. But on that time, on a return, we were all excited to see. We get nonchalante Worthy. I don't know. That's my least favorite version.
Good. That is hilarious. Because he gets real nonchalant about it.
That's
definitely a shirt.
Zach, clip it. All right.
Can I get that shirt? Nonchalante Worthy, especially if they win the chip. I want a nonchalante Worthy.
I think we just have to make the meme where we put the sunglasses on.
I want him struggling too. There's a picture of him in this game struggling like this. I want that.
First and 10.
Worthy.
Trey Robinson set up to the left of Codrington. Campbell back out there with Worthy.
Just a 9-yard cushion for a quick screen out
the
there.
The handoff to Trey Robinson. Flag on the play, and Robinson got taken for a ride. They go low.
Dang. He told me it's too little. That's a heck of a hit.
There's the Predator out there.
Holding on the offense, so it'll be first and 15.
Good job, referees. Way to see it, I guess. Did he go for he rapped? He did go for the rap. Oh, yeah, he rapped. Oh, my goodness.
He certainly did rap.
His Trey jumped as well, so it made the hit look worse.
Yeah.
Why'd you jump, Trey?
First and 20, pardon me.
Yikes.
Yeah, because the holding.
Mm-hmm.
But listen, if you're going to run against the Renegades, what you're doing is you're trying to punch right into the strength of their Philly shell.
That's a fact.
If it's boxing, right? Where are they leaving open the jab? It's that 9-yard cushion on the outside to a quick screen to Ashante Worthy.
But Kesan has the mismatch.
First and 20. Codrington throws it at one, intended for Kesan Campbell.
He has the mismatch, though. I'm going there.
All right, so early on in this game, maybe one of the best quarterbacks we've seen in this history of this league has been completely inaccurate on every throw. Sterry Codrington has to reel the ball, whether it's get a better grip or deal with the elements, whether there's wind in his face. But I have not seen, even on the touchdown, I have not seen an accurate throw. But he's going to get bailed out here with a defensive holding, which will only be a 5-yard penalty, but an automatic first down.
And it resets the table at first and 15.
That's a huge penalty because if you don't hold there, it's probably not catchable. That's why it's holding and not pass interference.
Right.
And it's 2nd and 20, not 1st and 10.
But he has to be aware of where he's at on the field. After 5 yards, let that man go.
Yeah, but if your quarterback, Rob, for me, if your quarterback isn't comfortably throwing accurate passes and you need to be able to pass to win the game, take what the defense is giving you. Because all season, Sterry Codrington has a 70% or so, Cole will correct me soon, completion percentage because he takes those quick screens when he has them.
He does. He definitely does.
And by the way, Mark Bagway isn't lurking out there to pick it off. There's a 9-yard cushion for them to take advantage of, and I think they're going to find.
And they put a bigger body on Worthy. The handoff, Robinson pushes through the pile and gets it to gains about a yard or two. It'll be 2nd and 9 after 3 first downs and 3 holding penalties.
And it's what I'm saying too. BIC again. I truly believe they're one of the best offenses we've ever seen. They're eventually going to score. The Renegades are making it very difficult, making it take a while for them to score. But if they don't score those quick successions like Corey was saying, the game plays in the Renegades' favor. It truly does.
And I'll say this, for this to be a lot of what they've been trying to do, it's great to have a Mark Bagway, but the name that they're missing is Dave Valley.
And Dave Valley's still injured. He's not cleared to play. Codrington throws the Swan, could not get it to Worthy. It'll be 3rd and 7.
Yeah, the offensive line play has been suffering for BIC since Dave Valley's exit. And, I mean, they're doing the best they could, but you really see that he's missing from there.
Well, and in that situation on 2nd and 7, it reminded me of the 3rd and 7 that the Renegades converted. Service was able to throw that crossing route. Now, it was a slant, not a full cross, but Service was able to throw the ball right to Kyle Ward's hands on the crossing route. That time, Ashanti Worthy does have the separation enough. It's an accurate pass. But with a 2-minute warning, Matt, I think Alex is saying we should go to break.
We'll take a brief timeout at the 2-minute warning. Your score 13-13. Can the BIC get the lead before halftime? We'll find out in just a moment. It's the A7FL Games of the Week. Stay right where you are. We're back with the A7FL Games of the Week, and it's brought to you by our friends over at Scene. Are you an online creator or business owner managing oceans of live and recorded video? Looking to better optimize and monetize those assets? Scene helps you get complete control over your video content, organize inventory, and maximize monetization with shoppable prompts and ads at optimum times to generate and increase revenue. Scene in action on a7fl.tv or scan the QR code now and unlock your potential. It's Scene. The BIC looking to unlock this offense's potential. 13-13, 3rd and 7 at the 2-minute warning. Samad Sessions, the leading sacker in the A7FL on the defense for the Renegades. 7 sacks so far on the season.
Attaboy.
Empty backfield for Codrington. Renegades get the ball at half. The snap. Codrington underneath and can not get flag on the play. Worthy could not hold on to the ball, but will the BIC get bailed out like Enron?
What it is.
Well, they get bailed out like it's 08 after the call here.
It's not looking too good for the defense.
Kyle Ward kvetching about that one.
Well, and the difference there on the actual play, we'll see what the penalty is, but they go rocket screen instead of quick screen. And on 3rd and 7 with the different formation, the Renegades were playing tight on Ashanti Worthy. But again, that's a 9 yards in the air throw that Sterry Codrington is probably about 2 yards out of the catch radius of Ashanti Worthy on a normal quick screen. So there's definitely there's a holding call in the defense. So that's, again, another first down.
Holding on the defense, but another flag seemed to have been waved. I'm trying to get a better understanding of what's going on.
Yeah, Will just put up a sign for 4th.
Yeah, I'm not fully understanding what's happening here.
They're moving down the field.
They're moving the chains.
We're going to have Will Franklin, and the reason his hat is so large is he's got so many thoughts going on in there. So many moving parts to
There might have been a second penalty involved with that was waved off.
So if there is another penalty
that penalty was waved off,
then it would be 2-on-1 team. So then one would be, listen, they're waving off the initial penalty, so there is no penalty. Okay. And now it is 4th, so
it'll be 4th down. Okay.
A stop
The first stop of the day, no penalty.
Wow.
And
if it wasn't for the bailout on that defensive holding, that's basically similar to a 3 and out from the BIC offense.
And the momentum of the game on the line here. Mark Bagway will throw this one off. Ashante Worthy out there as well. Bagway throws this one to the 30. That's caught by Kyle Ward. Kyle Ward with a live ball. Kyle Ward on an untimed down. He will be stopped, picked up, and carried by Ashante Worthy. No scoop, no slam, but great field position and a risky gambit here by the BIC special teams.
Yeah, well, Mark Bagway has the arm strength to throw it out of bounds. We know that. Now, there could be a wind in his face, and that might be what's affecting some of the quarterback's throws so far in today's game. But you got to execute the what I call the punt 3-on-1, because you're allowed to throw it out of bounds, and because it bounces inbounds and doesn't get out, Kyle Ward's able to, with only 1:56 left on the clock, add 15 yards to the field position for the Renegades. Because if it goes out of bounds, Renegades start in their own side of the field, probably closer to the 25-yard line than where they're at now, which is just about midfield. So great play from Kyle Ward to take advantage, but also that's a poor play from BIC to not convert it by throwing it out of bounds.
And I know they want to use, Bagway to throw the ball, but if he's not doing his job and getting that ball as far away as possible, he's not a sure thing at tackling. He's not like the greatest tackler on the field.
1st and 10, pressure immediately. Service on his back foot. Service gets a chance to redeem himself, but will run out of play, stop the clock, but that will be a loss of about 6. Not what you want to see from your quarterback there, especially when you can set up the momentum heading into halftime. Stops the clock, but not the right first step, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, the worst thing you could do there is throw the ball to the defense, so that's not the worst thing that could happen.
Well, fair.
But it certainly isn't a great thing, because an incompletion, to the right guy out of bounds or in a safe place is obviously better than losing the 5 yards. But he is able to keep the clock, which in my opinion, when, the Renegades have shown that when they've been on target with their plays, they've been able to move the ball. So keeping those 2 timeouts, they only have 1 timeout, it looks like. But it's going to be tough sledding on 2nd and 15.
The throw caught near the sideline, but it will be brought down at the 45. Not enough for the first.
He didn't get out of bounds.
And the clock will continue to run. Was called inbounds, called down inbounds. So 1:33 and counting. Only 1 timeout left for the Renegades. They get the ball at half, but you're definitely going to want to get yourself enough of a cushion against this BIC offense.
And when you get the perfect route on a drive like this, just get out of bounds.
The snap, pressure, service, throws, and that one is... They're trying to see if he was complete. They will call...
He's standing waiting to give the call. That's the man who's going to do it.
Yeah, that's rough.
I think he caught it, but with, as important as that play is...
It's under 2 minutes. Holding on the offense.
I guess it doesn't matter at that
Either
point.
way, the Renegades finding the rakes and stepping on them in propensity. And it will be a longer road to hoe. The Renegades finding momentum, and then the BIC defense and some errant hands sending it the other way.
And both of these offensive lines have to make the adjustment, because they have mobile enough quarterbacks that if you have a guy that gets past you, the quarterback can solve the problem most of the time. But when you get called for holding, it's a 10-yard penalty no matter what. So they're going to, both of these teams have to make that adjustment.
3rd and 14. The snap. Pressure and service gets canceled. Big play, and there are flags.
Yeah, I don't know what the flag will be.
Yeah,
I get sacked like that probably on a play-in, play-out basis. So I'm not sure if there's anything wrong with that. But somebody on the Renegades is certainly excited about the call.
Unsure of what the call could be. Service.
Again, a quarterback was tackled on the play.
Penalty on the defense. We'll see what the call is, but is it a horse collar?
I can't tell.
Well, I mean, they just touched him, I guess. So, I mean,
I can't tell, honestly.
Cool.
We're trying to get an understanding from the officials of what the call was. We'll have that for you in a moment.
Yeah, not a huge fan if that's roughing the passer because obviously he has the ball in hand. If he lets go of the ball and that happens after the throw, certainly that's way too late to be making that play. But when Service as a quarterback is as dangerous as he is, able to run around when he gets free of tackles like that, you can't penalize the defense from making sure.
And it looks like that's being walked back. Whatever the call was, it's being walked back or walked forward to trying to get the flag's being walked back to the other side of the 50. So we'll be going back.
So they're going to say that the sack
counts. So that would mark it 4th down.
But the other thing is that the clock is running now, if that's the case. So a lot goes into these late A7FL right before half or end of game calls, guys.
Yeah, the final 2 minutes of an A7FL game, offsetting penalties on offense and defense.
Yeah, I don't know. This is an interesting situation that Will's got to have to use all of the brain in that big hat to figure out.
It was a personal foul on the offense.
Was it unsportsmanlike?
And holding on defense.
Holding on the
personal foul on offense, and then holding on defense.
It looks like we're going to get an approximation from Will Franklin in just a moment as he talks things over with Kenny Stansberry. We're talking about that Asbury traffic.
He's saying, look, if you make the second left by the Chick-fil-A, it's closed. It's Sunday. So there's less traffic there. And then
Indeed.
Well, if it's offsetting penalties, then it's a replay of the down, which was, I believe, it was 3rd and 14.
It was it would be it was 3rd down. It was 3rd and 14. That sack was about 5 yards, maybe more than that, 5 to 10 yards. So it would be 4th down.
Well, if it's offsetting penalties, then it's either the play is reset or both penalties offset, and it's a result of the play. So as it looks like we're coming to a conclusion on this deliberation, as per usual, Kenny Stansberry is going with the Chewbacca defense. That's going to be a running gag on Games of the Week, guys. I'm going to mention it as much as possible because
you got 4 more chances this year. So
an 8-foot-tall Wookiee on Endor just does not make sense. And we're I think that's a hat a Wookiee actually might be able to pull off.
Well, you know, because of the news recently, Will Franklin said, as the head official, I should have a hat denoting my status. I should have the biggest hat of all the hats. Hence, you know, Gigantor over there.
Yeah. Biggest hat we've ever seen. Nothing like it. Maybe the best hat ever.
Let us know at a7fl.com/chat. That's a7fl.com/chat. Do you want your lead referees wearing bigger hats? Do you want your referee positions designated by hat size? Let us know at a7fl.com/chat. That's a7fl.com/chat. If you're just joining us, your score's 13-13. The BIC and the Renegades scored on their first 2 drives. The BIC got stopped by the Renegades on their last drive. A 3-on-1 throw-off set up the Renegades with decent field position, but a myriad of penalties and a big sack by the BIC defense have us either at 4th down, 1st down, or some variable of the 2, as the officials dissect 2 offsetting penalties as the geese fly in the background in this Werner Herzog of a situation we find ourselves in. And we'll take a brief timeout. When we return, we'll try to resolve the ennui and give you the end of this first half. It's the A7FL playoffs. Stay right where you are. Back with the A7FL Games of the Week on A7FL.tv and also a bunch of brand new places. If you want to know where you can watch the A7FL on demand, go to A7FL.com/watch. That's A7FL.com/watch. Come up at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. It will be the Watchmen and the Animals in the third straight year battling in a win-or-go-home season. The Watchmen looking to beat them for the third straight year. The Animals looking to make history. Who will fly to Vegas? Who will make fishing plans? We'll find out at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific on Fox Soul. And also Triller TV Plus, Fight 24/7, internationally on DAZN, A7FL.tv. And if you want to learn where else you can watch live, go to A7FL.com/watch. Matt Ryan here, joined alongside Big Rob Fabian and Corey Hammond, and this is not what you want, guys. As we take a look at the replay, if you're the Renegades offense, this much time to litigate, and it looks like some rules need to be parsed through, so we need to get the constitutional scholars out here. But Rob, as an offensive lineman, getting that rest is key. But for your quarterback, your wide receivers, your running backs, people trying to get into a rhythm, much like me, you want to be in the rhythm, you want to be in the rhyme, you want to have a conversation. It's locker room chat time. Go drop a comment, get a shout out. Download the locker room chat today. Go to A7FL.com/chat. That's A7FL.com/chat. Scan the QR code now and let me, Rob, Corey, and the world know what you're thinking at A7FL.com/chat. But Rob Fabian, Corey Hammond, it looks like we've gotten some resolution as teams are lining up. It's going to be first down. From the 30, Service rolls out to his right, met by... There's DeAndre Haynes, but there's a flag on the play. Another flag on this one as the referees are calling this one like Bush v. Gore. If this was the Mayflower Kennel Club dog show right now, the Renegades feeling like Winky. They want to take their two left feet to the dance and make some history. You know me. I dream the impossible dream. I climb, I climb the unreachable wall. Grab the like Sisyphus and his rock. Me and my references. Haynes will consider himself eligible. Second down. Oh, no, first down. Flag again. False start on the offense. Matt Riddick out there on the BIC defense. So is Ashante Worthy. Their pick six crew is out there right now. Yeah. Week one, he proved he was a tackler. First and 15. Service snaps, in trouble. Chased down by Codrington, then set out near the sideline. Service finds a way to throw. That is tipped. Caught. Brings it down somehow, some way. The Renegades take the lead. Top Shark finds the way. Chum in the water. The BIC are bleeding. The Renegades take the lead. flag. What's the call? No flag. No flag. Touchdown counts. Touchdown counts. No, there are 44 seconds left in the half. Oh, wow. For all our people all across the world, we're getting down here in Asbury Park, 19-13 your score. But the extra point's vital.
Half against BIC, no better time for Anthony Service to decide. It's time to do that.
Apologies for the sound, because I am one man pressing 9 buttons at once, much like Anthony Service, but I'm not as good as him.
Oh,
here's a chance for Service,
they
and
need
they get there.
That's Kyle
That's
Ward.
Kyle Ward on the handoff.
That's
Pardon
Kyle
me.
Ward, baby. They needed that. They needed that. Those championship points are crucial. And they needed that right there. And they're saying he didn't get in. Holy, they're saying he didn't get in.
He didn't get in? Oh, my goodness.
Oh, this game is something else.
So just for the record, the fans at home missed me like absolutely geeking out about how great that throw just was, because it needs to be said if I did it.
Yeah, that was an amazing throw.
Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. This is why I'm leaving at the end of the season.
No, you're good, because basically to sum up what we said there on the championship point, let's see if he gets in. It looks like he clearly gets in.
What are they talking about?
It's so obvious that he's in. Like, I don't even know what we're talking about. How could you wave your hands?
You're right there. What are you doing? Come on.
I don't know. That's as clear as it is.
Yeah,
let's talk about the pass that got them to 19, because rolling to your left, planting, getting on an offset base, which means that your feet aren't set, throwing off your back foot and over the head of Sterry Codrington.
Oh, not this one.
Well, this is the first.
This is Sterry's.
Yeah, it's Sterry's extra point.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there. We can still talk about it. Anthony Service, not only is that one of the more important throws based on the timing of this game, when it is in the season, obviously in the playoffs, when it is in the game, with an opportunity to take the lead on a BIC that right now offensively is struggling a little bit against the defense in BIC that doesn't let up this amount of points really, except for in week 1 against the Renegades in a similar fashion.
Renegades have their we always talk about it. Styles make fights. This is the matchup. This is an insane. I don't even understand what we're reviewing here.
Let's see from this top down. Maybe we missed it.
He might have touched the line.
Maybe
he
his
touched
left
the
foot.
line.
And just to clarify, because it is a little bit different at the hash, the initial spot of the hash, the inside part of the hash, is the actual beginning of the out of bounds. So if you touch even a little bit of that hash,
you're out of bounds.
You're out of bounds.
Ooh.
Now both of these teams have designed plays on extra points. You see here, Kyle Ward starts with it. They put their quarterback in motion on the jet motion behind him.
Look at that 1 yard line. Here it comes. Us right there. It looks like he steps on it. It looks like he steps on it.
Well, the first angle, it looked completely clear. Now it was a ground level, so maybe we couldn't see the hash.
I think so. I think that's exactly what happened, because I thought it was clear as day. Because if you look here, you can't really see the hash.
You can't see the hash.
And you see the goal.
Nah, bro. Hold on.
No, that goal line. No, I can see the hash. No, if you go back, I can see the hash.
I don't think he touched the hash.
No, I can see the hash, but from this angle, he doesn't touch the hash.
Yeah,
there's clear green between him and where the hash is at. But from this angle,
it's his left foot when he gets to about the 1.5 1 yard line.
Yeah, like
it's 2 more steps. 1, 2. Well,
right there.
Yeah, that left
right
foot.
There.
That left foot looks like it touches.
Right in between, like you
said. But it's got to be conclusive to overturn. The initial call was that it was a no good attempt, that they missed that point, that it was an incomplete play. Well,
in a lot of
not
instances,
incomplete in that sense, but we take a look at the snap zoom.
In a lot of instances, some fans at home might be thinking like, well, this is like an extra point. Like, why does this even matter?
This is
I'll say this.
Margin for he steps over
close,
it.
Bro. That's close. That
and of course,
it's not conclusive. It's not conclusive that he did it.
And of course, Matt,
That's
what
the
end
problem.
zone is this call at?
That is the Rubicon. That one, that right side end zone has been there's something in between the 10-yard line and the back of that end zone that is cursed. I don't know what it is.
Is it actually Roman? Is there water from the Roman Empire that has been sprinkled on there, like holy water?
I don't know.
Or something? Because it
Asbury
really
Park,
is the Rubicon.
Asbury Park Stadium was the spring training site of the New York Yankees in the 1930s, I do believe. Late 1930s, if not the 1940s. So it could just be a guy that got cut from the Yankees during that unique spring training who's haunting that stadium like a ghost. And it is good.
Is Kyle Ward like a Boston Red Sox fan or something? Like, why is he haunting it? Well, speaking of sports and jerseys.
Yeah, if you want to get the official A7FL uniform or the A7FL jersey, if you want a Big Rob throwback or a Corey Hammond jersey, go to tpg-sports.com. That's tpg-sports.com. Custom athletic uniforms for athletes of all sports and ages. If you and your team need to get outfitted this coming season in any sport, any age, we've got you covered. Scan the QR code now or get yourself a custom A7FL jersey from our friends where it's always efforts over excuses. tpg-sports.com.
Listen, if I'm making recommendations for a jersey, what better name to have on your back than Stone King?
That is
I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there. And
we'll see Kenyon Stone King in action at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific as we finalize our bracket. Sick with it. We'll take on the Silver State Stealth. And for more information on that, go to a7fl.com/watch.
Let's get David Soberman just for, later on, maybe third, fourth quarter. What is the best last name to have on a jersey that we have active in this league?
That's a fun one. Go to a7fl.com/chat. Ashante Worthy on an untimed down, looking to get past Damon Small, and he does! Ashante Worthy!
Is it Kyle Ward to save the day?
Can Ward stop him? He gets into the 17!
Ooh.
But with 44 seconds and all of their timeouts, the BIC get a shot in the arm in the form of an Ashante Worthy near house call.
It's their special teams that's going to say BIC special teams is what's going to either win them the game or lose them the game. And we've watched it several times.
I know I skew Marvel, guys, but all I saw there was Kal-El flying down the sideline. And Bruce Wayne, by some miracle, comes in with kryptonite.
Oh, that's my Matt Riddick! Matt Riddick, meep! Road runner! And it is not Boston bound, but gets him to the 2 and stops the clock. Holy moly.
And in a different dimension, the Reverse Flash is standing there on the sideline. Some might call him Zoom. I don't know. There's different ones.
And they're trying to tell them, hey, that clock should stop. He ran out of bounds.
It's Baltimore special time over there. If that's what happened.
BIC is opening up that playbook and showing why they're the veteran team. There's things they understand.
Much like the Flaming Groovies, the BIC shook some action, took 10 seconds off the clock, and got them to the 2-yard line.
And that's the 3-on-1 right there, because an untimed down, not only a scoring chance, but the ability to put you in a position where with 3 timeouts, BIC right now could run the ball 3 straight times. Now, they have Meep and Ashante Worthy and Kesan Campbell likely out there at wide receiver, so maybe they do go with the pass.
Well, let's see. This was the play. The Baltimore
they called
special.
it. Somebody said, hey, get over there.
And Matt Riddick,
beep, beep.
One of the most iconic players in the A7FL.
Matt Riddick used to give me nightmares. Hated that guy.
You nightmares. He played corner against us.
Oh, my God.
You nightmares. You didn't have to block him.
I had to sit on the sidelines while he
you were dealing with Tyler Affa, and I was over there like.
Oh, no, he was a nightmare as well.
Where is Matt Riddick? Oh, he's also there, too. Yeah, that's
You can relive great games like that on the A7FL YouTube channel. You can subscribe there right now. Watch archived games, live games, and more for absolutely free. And you can also watch free games anytime at a7fl.tv.
Big Rob, how many times have you watched us in the red jersey play the Immortals?
Not enough, buddy. Not enough.
Not a never. Not a never.
I think I only watched that last drive because We gave it our all.
Courage had negative yards rushing in that game. That was not a good day for BIC.
First and goal, 33 seconds
present.
left to go. 19-13 is your score. BIC looking to tie it.
Speed out to Matt Riddick, bottom of your screen.
I like that.
Oh, it's just singing.
But will they leave that much time on the clock for the Renegades? That is the question. Can Codrington keep it, slides, and takes it to the house? Touchdown, BIC.
That's too easy for Sterry. That's why
Triangle.
I asked.
ISO Sterry. They hit him with the text winner.
Listen, if your like lead gun in Call of Duty is an assault rifle and you can hit it from distance, just press triangle. Sidearm.
Yeah.
Touchdown.
It's the carbine repeater.
There it is.
Yeah.
It's in the holster.
It's in the holster.
When it's in the holster, all you got to do is pull it out. Pause, or whatever.
We'll pause and reset. It's 19-19. It's a tie game again. Might as well be 0-0. But the Renegades get 33 seconds. They are a slow burn offense. But if they can get Damon Small to make something happen on the return.
And it's Mark Bagway for the championship point, which would take the lead.
Very interesting.
Bagway rolls out, and he will find a way, and he will lead the shoulder, slip up on the right stick, and it will be a BIC 20-19 lead.
And that's how big that call was on the Kyle Ward.
Kyle Ward, for sure.
With 30 seconds left to go, 20-19 your score. Championship points are called championship points for a reason. Bagway will be out there on the 3-on-1 return, but we take a look at the replay again. In as elementary as Will Franklin's hat, defying laws of physics. Mark Bagway finding a way to get in there, stomping in.
That's what we were talking about off air with service. When you get to that spot, you're at the 3-yard line. Plant the left foot, cut it inside, get the points that you need to win the game. And that's what Mark Bagway's able to do. Every punch that BIC has thrown, the Renegades have found some way to deflect and counter. And now with 30 seconds left in the first half, it might be Kyle Ward back there that's looking to land that counter for the East Orange Renegades.
Bagway launches this one to the 15. It's caught by Kyle Ward. Ward met through, but he is brought down at the 40. Kesan Campbell, Mark Bagway, and Trey Cohen out there for the BIC.
Almost had a seam.
Almost had that opening, but did not get there. The seam gets ripped like a baseball fan ripping out a fitted. And
now 30 left. Renegades got to be careful. BIC calls timeout. They weren't ready. The Renegades got to be careful they don't turn the ball over here.
That's the concern. That don't create a situation where a guy like A Street Frazier can get the ball in his hands because he's fast and he can make at least enough space to set up enough time for the BIC to score one more touchdown.
Yeah, we saw how quick BIC was able to do it when they get a chance.
But
they still have 2 timeouts.
But the Renegades have yet to be stopped.
And after that last throw that was the touchdown from service, why not take a chance? But it's going to be interesting because if BIC rushes the extra man, they'll force potentially an errant throw.
They swapped A Street Frazier for Bagway.
They had to because DeAndre Hayes was going to seam right up there. It had been him by himself.
The snap. Haynes gets brought down to one knee. Service in trouble. Service looking to break it open once again. Service slips out to the outside. Anthony Service on his bicycle. Anthony Service to the 30. And he brought down by Kesan Campbell. But the clock will stop after, I believe, a timeout. 17 seconds left to go in the half.
Yeah, but there's yellow on the field all the way back.
And we're going back, boys.
It has to be holding when it's thrown there.
Oh, my God.
Anthony Service got some bail earlier. This time, the lawyer not returning his phone call. They get moved back. Holding on the offense, the call. You could see it a little bit right there.
I didn't
see it.
But here's the thing that Service
I don't see where they threw the flag. The holding.
Oh, there it is.
Okay, right here.
Yeah,
there we go.
And I think it might have been DeAndre Haynes.
Now, the look on his face, I don't know how comfortable Service is running down the field with the ball ball in
Not
his hands
very.
in the middle of the teeth of the BIC defense. But that, like I said, is what they have to do to win this game, in my opinion,
No, it's
because
a
it's
fact.
going to be there for Service. He has the speed, he has the acceleration to take advantage of seams like he just made with the great evasiveness back in the pocket against guys like Deontay Henderson and company. But the holding calls for the Renegades are just too much, and they're adding up and taking away so many great plays
Yeah.
that we've seen offensively for them. Eventually, it's going to be too much because there's only so many times that you're going to be able to execute perfectly against the BIC defense that seems to be almost everywhere. But again, a run like that, even on the hold, forces BIC to think about how they have to play defense here, because you cannot allow Service to get busy and free, especially when they still have a timeout, so they can run the ball into scoring position and then maybe take a chance at a jump ball or a throw after the timeout.
1st and 20. After the penalty, they're set up at the 40-yard line. Service with an empty backfield. The snap. Pressure. Thrown underneath and incomplete. Missed time to throw, I believe, to Baisden, and it will be 2nd down.
Yeah, that's not the end of the – well, it's not the end of the world there to be an incompletion. He gets the ball out before the pressure gets to him, but that's what happens. That's what will happen when BIC decides to send that extra rusher and you only have 3 blocking. Good play from Service there, even though it's an incompletion, because honestly, if he completed the slant, it's probably the worst-case scenario.
20-19, your score. The BIC scoring on a late drive. The Renegades gave the BIC the ball back with 44 seconds, and a Shante Worthy return set up a Sterry Codrington touchdown. And with 15,
yeah, a lot of running touchdowns from quarterbacks today's game.
Service in trouble, being hunted down by Ole Bell. Under 10 seconds now left to go. Service throws this one, and it's in it. Almost picked off. Kesan Campbell nearly ripped that one out of the sky, and it will be 3rd down.
Kyle Ward gave up on it. If he just kept running, it hits him right in the breadbasket.
Yeah, but it's a little behind and it's a little high. That's why even Kesan, who was 1.5 yards behind him in coverage, couldn't get up and make the one-handed catch. So I don't necessarily dislike the idea, but when you throw across your body, if you throw behind, that is interception city because the wide receiver is running away from the ball. So guess who isn't going to be in as bad of a position if you throw it behind? The defender that's trailing.
For sure.
So they're lucky that it goes down, but with 4 seconds left, this is really just going to be the last play probably for the Renegades. And that we'll
screen
get
underneath to Kyle Ward. Ward looking to make something happen, and he will be stopped at the 44, and that will be the end of our first half. 1 half down, 1 half left to go. We knew this one would be close and contentious. Didn't know how close. The Renegades get the ball at halftime, but the BIC have the lead. We'll break everything down for you on the other side of this. Highlights now of our first half as it was Ashante Worthy returning things off to start things off for the BIC. Would not get 6, Rob Fabian, but would get enough to set up the BIC for a first drive, and that would be the BIC with the help of Trey Robinson on a bit of a broken play to get it to Ashante Worthy to make it 6-0. The extra point for the BIC, but
boom.
That big man, Mo Francis, a cloud runner in one ways, but he does not hit like a cloud. The run game, Rob, has been so important to set up this Renegades offense.
And honestly, I'm impressed. But again, this is what we know about BIC. They're not the strongest when it comes to stopping the run, but they did bring Henderson in to help that. And what a phenomenal throw by Service to
big
DeAndre.
bounce, and then Damon's just those bodies, meaning like that was an underrated matchup we didn't get a chance to talk about much heading into this game. Smalls versus Henderson. That's one of those. It's like Scooter Hamilton against Deontay Henderson. That's a matchup you want to see, or Scooter Hamilton against DeAndre Haynes. Those two big bodies bouncing off one another. But we see here Anthony Service, his legs have been able to give the Renegades so much life here when penalties have made such
phenomenal play by Service today with his legs. Corey called it earlier. I didn't think he had it in him, but he did. He's been doing great.
And Worthy on the return. Has the lack of a Marcellus Packett returner been an issue for the BIC? They've not utilized Trey Cohen as much, but here we see Kesan Campbell, his first touch of the day on a Baltimore special. That quick screen gets him into the end zone and gives the BIC the 13-7 lead. The BIC would not get the extra point. Service underneath to Kyle Ward. What a year Kyle Ward has had coming to this Renegades team, showing how important, how vital, what an all-decade and Hall of Fame player he is. That second level, that ability to push off a high-level defender, and then Service one more time with his legs.
That's just impressive.
Holding the ball like a loaf of bread, but
honestly,
making it happen.
This might be Service's best game, in my opinion.
They were not. That touchdown gets called back, but Service one more time on 3rd and goal, gets into the end zone, but the BIC would find a way to keep pushing. It would be a 4th down, though, when the BIC would throw it off. The Renegades would stop the BIC on offense to make it 13-13, and then Kyle Ward would not get the 6th. Terry Codrington's breathing a sigh of relief as Ashante Worthy gets the stop, but then Anthony Service finds a way, meets a sack from the BIC defense, a cacophony of flags. The final minute 3 of this game took more time than an episode of 60 Minutes watching it at 1.5 speed. But throwing this one deep one more time, the top shark finding his way swimming into the blue pool of Asbury Park's end zone to give the Renegades their first lead of the game with 44 seconds left. But 44 seconds doesn't mean anything on an untimed down because Ashante Worthy may not have gotten 6, but he got as close as you could get as Kyle Ward would have to waylay his way in there, and that would be the highlights. The BIC would get the touchdown to make it 20-19. When we return, we'll have stats, more, and maybe some predictions as the A7FL playoffs move on here on A7FL TV. Stay right where you are. We're back live on the A7FL Games of the Week, and here are your stats at halftime. The BIC throwing less yards across the board, except for return yards. An interesting thing to see here, the Renegades getting more possessions than the BIC.
84 pass yards, Matt. You take away the touchdown to Kesan Campbell, which I believe was probably around 60. That's a really abysmal passing yardage accumulation for Sterry Codrington-led offense in the first half. Think about it. You take away 60 yards from 84. That's what they've been able to do the entire first half, except for one play.
That is, in the BIC, what have been the positives for the BIC, you would say, Corey, in this first half?
Well, I think what they're able to do is, with the trouble getting total yards, they've figured out ways to just make it work as a championship-winning team with championship-winning type guys. I mean, look at their first drive. It wasn't a lot of successful executed plays. They just took advantage of the situations that they were given. On the 4th and goal, it wasn't even a play that was even recognizable based on what they called in the huddle. It was just Trey Robinson figuring something out to get the touchdown on the board. And then after Service makes one of the best throws we've seen all season, how does BIC respond? Like Rob said they were going to, with a great play on special teams and having to only get 15 yards to tie and then take the lead with less than 40 seconds left. And that's how you win in the A7FL.
Get yourself taped up like a pro. Use Tape Me Up for professional athletic training services to athletes of all sports and ages. Scan the QR code or go to tapemeup.net. That's tapemeup.net. Get taped up like a pro today. Matt Ryan joined alongside Big Rob Fabian and Corey Hammond. 20-19 is your score. East Orange Renegades will get the ball to start off our second half. A little bit later on today around the A7FL, the Insomniacs will take on the Vegas Gold. That game will be at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. And at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 Pacific here in Asbury Park, it will be the Watchmen taking on the Animals. Gentlemen, that's going to be a big matchup. But back to this game real quickly. The East Orange Renegades, Rob Fabian, what's the one thing that they can do from the first half that carries over to half number 2?
Honestly, they got to start figuring out how to score on the opportunities that BIC is giving them when they get these turnovers or these 3 and outs. They need to be able to score. Not scoring in those opportunities got them right here where it's 20-19 and BIC is up. Because we talked about this earlier. BIC will score. They are going to score. It's about how long it takes them to score. And if you allow that special teams to go off, which is secretly their bread and butter, that special teams of BIC is no joke. It's either going to win them a game or lose them the game. If you allow them to get that many yards, there's nothing you can do to stop Sterry Codrington's offense. There's absolutely nothing. So they need to tighten up on special teams, figure out how to get a quick score, a quick stop, and maybe they could win this game. Maybe.
Well, in Sterry Codrington's career against BIC, one of the teams that he struggles against the most are the defensive-led teams that we've seen from the Renegades. If you think about that year when it was Trey, Baskerville, and Dondre Haynes, and Malik the Predator, whether it's Damon Smalls and the cast of guys that they brought in for this run, if they continue as the Renegades to put pressure on Sterry Codrington in a way that he's not able to slip loose and get 70 yards on a running play, then right now he's been struggling putting the ball in the air accurately to his receivers. And I think if Service continues to return serve, it's going to be on Sterry Codrington to step up and make one of those pass plays complete, where it's kind of been tough for them, at least in the first half so far.
And it will be Kyle Ward returning. You see Kesan Campbell out there along with Mark Bagway. Bagway will throw the ball off for the BIC. Bagway breaking the feed like he did in 2022 and 2023. First game since the 2023 championship game that we've seen Mark Bagway on A7FL's Games of the Week. Kyle Ward returning. He gets to the 30. Bagway meets him and gets him to stop. Centrifugal force taking him off course. And it will be 1st and 10 from the 36.
Yeah, and anytime on a 3-on-1 coverage team, you stop a potential touchdown scorer like Kyle Ward around the 30-yard line, you've won that down.
That's a fact.
And with Mo Francis back out there, we haven't seen much of Mo Francis in the latter stages of the second quarter. They were relying a lot on Service and Small, but do you think that that's a bit of an indicator light, Rob, when you're on defense, you see Small out there? When you see Francis over Small out there?
There's no indicator. They don't run the same, but if I'm them,
but they're going to have Dondre pull. It's going to be fake to Francis, quarterback keep to the right side.
Francis
keeps it. There's the problem. If you can't have a guy on your edge touching Mo first and then Henderson.
16 on the tackle.
Henderson cleaning up. You can't have that.
Well, and what I was reacting to is they switched the matchup on that left side, and normally what they like to do is they like to pull Dondre when they pull him. So him switching sides, I thought that indicated a pull. What they wanted is to have Dondre have that matchup on the outside, and he kind of missed the block there, which is what leads to the 2nd and 10.
Watch 16 coming off the edge alongside Ole Bell. The snap. Pardon me, that's not Ole Bell. The snap, the throw caught, but not enough for the first down. Kyle Ward, the receiver, and Mark Bagway on the catch. On the stop. He caught the human who caught the ball.
Yeah, and it's Mark Bagway and Deontay Henderson bracket that hook pass. And even with pressure at his face, Service is able to now deliver that perfect bullet on the 3-step timing route. And even with guys from Florida covering, it's still exactly what the Renegades wanted on 2nd and 10, bringing up 3rd and manageable.
3rd and 3. Francis set up to the left. Watch for Baisden, top shark, but there's the handoff, and Mo Francis is off to the races in his sick boy season in the A7FL. He switches. Francis gets ripped down, but he rips the heart out of the BIC defense. Big man with football. First down at the 13.
So
and
it's like it doesn't matter who they bring.
No, it does.
No, I mean, I guess it does, but
it doesn't matter who BIC brings. I got you. Go ahead. Keep up.
It doesn't matter who BIC brings. Their weakness will forever be the run.
And when you have to account for a running quarterback, what that does is it spreads out the defense on what looks like choice reads like that. And when Francis just attacks downhill, he's a really tough running back to stop.
The snap on first down, the handoff. Looking for something, looking for a sign of light, and he will be stopped.
And that's why that type of running play doesn't work against BIC, because guess who's trailing? Once Mo is past the first level, there's not even a second level to contend with. So the third level is Mark Bagway. And, yeah, he gets his licks at the end with kind of a throw-down tackle, but not after the damage is already done and it's first and goal. 1st and 10 from the 12-yard line. But you saw on the next play that they called, which is a run, you have a running back that kind of more goes side to side, horizontal instead of vertical.
Work. Yeah, that doesn't work.
That's not how you're going to be able to attack this very aggressive BIC defense. If they're going to try to get penetration north and south, that you have to find the whole north and south and run away from them.
2nd and 7, Service will keep it. Service will find a way out of play, and it will be 3rd down.
Again, the horizontal isn't how you win. There was a seam. If Service had the gumption, plant the left foot, cut it upfield with his acceleration, maybe he scores in that play. Now, not necessarily a bad play to take it to 3rd and 5 with your, soul and body intact, right? If that was the decision he was making. But what you're going to have to see eventually from Service is in a do-or-die situation, he sees that seam and he sticks his nose in there in a tackle football game.
You don't want him to end up like Ace back in the day, like taking these hits. Like these are some big guys they're going against.
On 3rd and 4, the top shark. Can he
get
there?
Yo.
Wow.
Yo.
The
touchdown,
patience.
Renegades.
Yo.
The patience from Megalodon, not Megatron. That's Megalodon, the top tippy top shark. And what he does is he patiently waits, and when H3 Frazier loses it in the air, he doesn't attack it by jumping vertically. He waits for the ball and judges the trajectory and then attacks it horizontally.
Wow, bro. Yo,
That's ball location right there.
He might have some of the best hands I've ever seen in A7.
I've seen it. He drops them all the time. What he's done in this game, though, is that diving catch twice to score touchdowns.
Yeah.
Huge plays for
But
Megalodon.
it's a 5-point game. The BIC need to stop here. If they can stop them on back-to-back championship point drives, they're going for two here.
Smart. They go for two here.
They have to.
Because not only do they force the lead, but then they force BIC to have to convert. They have to convert it, though.
The snap, service, in trouble, thrown, caught.
Oh.
Ball, cannot hold on to it. Kyle Ward can't hold on.
Bagway tipped it out.
But there's a part of me that feels like he made the wrong throw.
Mm.
The Megalodon guy crossed right in front, and there was no one on him.
I'm not necessarily disagreeing with you, but
Okay.
Kyle Ward's a pretty good option. I think that's just a really great play from Mark Bagway to get out of his hands.
You testing Bagway though in a extra
It's
point.
worked.
You need that extra point though.
Look,
I want to throw it to the wide open.
I'm not
More
disagreeing
protected with the Gator Skin Shiesty, guys. We just want to get this one in real quick.
Yeah,
GatorTech.com. Use the code A7FL10. That's A7FL10 to save 25. Pardon me, A7FL25. The code A7FL25 to save 10% off. Go ahead, guys.
Well, the reason these points are so important, I mean, there's no better team to ask than the Renegades, who in week one, if they're able to get these championship points, they were 1-0 after week one against this BIC team. Whole bracket changes now. Obviously, we can't go back in time. It's not that Marvel movie. But what they needed on that play was to punch it in so that they could force BIC to have to score an extra point to take the lead. Now, if they score any touchdown, he's got to return this now.
He touched it.
Oh, he stepped it. That's not stepping out of bounds.
He's in trouble now.
Ashante Worthy finds his way out of it, but gets to the 9.
He looked like he stepped out the back of the end zone, but.
And it will be 1st and 10.
That's as close as it gets for Ashante Worthy to be in danger. Who would have thought Ashante Worthy would have been in danger when he's the returner on a 3-on-1 and not the other way around?
Right.
And this is a replay from earlier.
A rarity indeed.
You know, Ryan DePaul, our producer, has just thrown that in there because that's a perfect down kick-out situation. That's one of his favorite things to see in this league.
And now, 89 yards.
What does he hate the most in this league?
Us.
Something that the Renegades have been called for multiple times in this first half.
Holding.
He thinks it should be an automatic ejection. I think that's a little bit out of touch.
We'd be the only ones playing. We'd be the ones playing. If no one, if you got ejected on a hold.
Not Rob.
Well, yeah, we'd be the only ones in the game. Codrington, empty backfield, 1st and 10. The throw. Incomplete. Incomplete, intended for Bagway, and a flag on the play.
I don't know.
I don't know. You got to show me a replay. Show me that flag is valid.
Now, we'll see what the call is, but this is the key to this play is the rush that gets into Sterry Codrington's face and does not allow for a seam for him to run.
It'll be
now,
1st
it's going
and
to be
5.
on the defense. Looks like it's going to be defensive holding. Now, we might have to see
a tripping penalty.
Interesting.
What did he put his foot out and do it, or was it an accident?
Listen, I don't know how you trip and then simultaneously dive for a shot at interception, but
boy,
listen, hey, I always in my huddles I always talk about if the refs call it, the refs call it. So just got to keep moving on.
Empty backfield once again. Mark Bagway, Ashante Worthy, and Kesan Campbell out for the BIC. That's a triumvirate.
Yeah, and look at the confidence on Bagway and Kesan Campbell. Tight coverage.
Jesus.
The snap, screen fakes it. Bagway almost caught it.
Now, you got a guy that's 6'6" with his hands up right there, all in your face, and you got to still get that throw off. Kudos to Sterry for getting the throw off. That is a hard throw when you got a guy that tall in your face.
Yeah, welcome to
Great
my
tip,
life.
too.
No, but if they're going to bring the extra man, which they're doing, this is what I said that they needed to do at the end of the half. They're doing it better than I articulated. They are putting pressure on Sterry Codrington, forcing him into making the throw and an accurate throw sooner than he wants to. But also, you see the way that they're rushing him. They are not allowing for any seams for him to find a way to get to that sidearm. And it'll be third and second and 10.
Not on the line. Haynes not there. Sessions has a free shot, but that one's deep and almost intercepted again.
He dropped it. Ooh.
Intended for Worthy, but 32 kept up with him stride for stride. I think that's Seth Batson. Little boat out there.
Ain't no way that's a little boat.
Guys, it's not.
It's not. That's what they have listed on their roster.
No,
listen,
I believe
Seth
it.
Batson gets credit. But, guys,
I'm
going to ask you a quick question. And I don't know if you guys would have answered this pre-game that this is what it would be. Who has momentum right now?
Oh, the Renegades have the momentum.
Renegades have momentum. But
that is something that right now the BIC needs to focus on because they go
third
only
and 10
two
to
offensive
snap.
line.
Codrington will run for the first time today. Sterry Codrington finds the seam. He runs down the sideline, and he will get brought down at the 46, and he will bring the BIC offense.
You went triangle toof there?
Yeah, bro.
Because it was effective.
Hurry up offense now, trying to get the Renegades off on their back foot. Will Franklin and his giant hat trying not to get in the way. The BIC down but not out. Backstack. Mark Bagway set up there.
My goodness.
I'm not very happy if I'm the Renegades right now.
I'm not
Watch
either.
the space Ashante has at the top of your screen.
They can blame me. I said they had momentum, and then look what happened.
The snap. Bagway will get it on the backstack from Sterry.
Bagway
whips this one. Caught Kesan Campbell from Mark Bagway. And just like that, like Cynthia Nixon and Rosie O'Donnell, the BIC take the lead.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. If that don't get you up out of your seat, get down, slip, slide. Kesan Campbell from Bagway takes it to the house.
And just that, the momentum has been shifted.
And to answer someone's earlier question, should you put Mark Bagway at quarterback? I don't know if you do that, but put the ball in his hands.
I'll definitely do that. I'm not having him start.
Basically, Mark Bagway showed up from Florida, and in that moment, he said,
"Well,
give me the ball and watch what I do."
Congratulations to Kesan Campbell with the most receiving yards in the season from Mark Bagway. Watch this. Wepa! Just flings it.
I know the Insomniacs might be watching this getting flashbacks because these are the things that happen. This might be a very tough duo to deal with
if you are sick with it or the stealth. If you are sick with it or the stealth, watching this game, clench, going for one, Bagway.
Tightly.
Pray for weather.
He finds a way to slip out of that one. Could not get it to Campbell again, but a 1-point lead with 7:26 left to go. If you love football, if you've got a friend that loves football, send them this. What are you doing? It's a Sunday in June. What else are you doing? If you're not at the parade, be here next. Want to manage massive amounts of content? Don't know how? Scan the QR code. Get some help from our friends over at Scene. You can manage your content, even have shoppable prompts like we do over at A7FL.tv. Mark Bagway launches this one, and it's caught at the 10. That's Kyle Ward getting the call one more time. Ward will be met at the 30, and he will be stopped at the 31. Kesan Campbell and Trey Cohen in on the stop. And as we get deeper into this game, gentlemen, Corey, on that last drive, you know, it was Mark Bagway who threw the touchdown, but Sterry Codrington almost did something did something 3 times he hasn't done all season.
Yeah, well, you let it, and if it's touching a team in all whites fingertips, just consider yourself lucky that you still got that goose egg on the board for interceptions on the season. But here's the thing about Sterry Codrington. Guys, he's really struggled in this game in the air. But he has a really long touchdown to Kesan Campbell because he threw it on time to a better receiver. And he also knows that, hey, I can do this a different way. So he either runs, and on that time,
Handoff.
give it to Mark Bagway.
Deontay Henderson had the toss
Pitches
over
it
to
again.
Service.
Here's the thing.
That's the second time they did that. It's almost like a design.
But the problem with that is not the running back you go with against Deontay Henderson.
No.
It's too easy for him to read this left-right hoppity, hip-hoppity stuff that you're doing. You got to go with Mo, or you got to go with Super
Smalls.
NES. Yeah, Smalls. You can't.
You sounded like my parents with the hippity hop.
Yeah, the hippity hop
The
stuff.
hippity hop is going to be a problem for the Renegades running game.
You got it. Like you got to go to the guys, man. And I don't.
I will say this: give him credit for an accurate pitch to his guy.
How did he get that going? And shout out to Ole Bell for keeping stride with him.
I really don't know.
He went down
really
weird.
Yeah, he's really tentative when he's out there. He's not falling forward because he's kind of playing back. I honestly don't think that he's super happy about
Are they trying to figure out if he was down, or are we just replaying here? They're reviewing the
pitch. Now, it was definitely backwards. Definitely backwards, but is his knee down before he gets it out, maybe, is what they're
I think that might be the call. Nope, that call on the field will stand. And the BIC will get a timeout taken away.
That's the second time Service, as a quarterback, has had enough just mental prowess to take a no gain and turn it into a first down in that scenario. Now, I don't know how excited he is to get those pitches.
I don't think
but he's taking advantage of them, and that's that's a sneaky way to kind of get the yardage that you're looking for against this BIC.
No
that's
Francis, no Small. It's Baisden and Ward at the bottom of your screen. Baisden covered by Matt Riddick. H.V. Frazier covering Ward. The toss to the big man, DeAndre Haynes, and Haynes will get the first down. Brought down by Isaac Negron, and it will be 1st and 10.
They go shovel pass, and the QC Crush actually were all over that last week. And the problem is that for me, if you're a defense and you see that the quarterback, who's a righty, is rolling to his left with no reason, something fishy is going on. But you see here,
wow, nice.
If Henderson sits on it, that play is dead. But just credit DeAndre Haynes and Service specifically for finding a way to getting that guy the ball in his hands, because he's dangerous once he's running down the field, and it makes you have to think when you're BIC's defense.
Under 5:20 left to go. Service finds the station and runs out of bounds around the 35. Another quick first down for the Renegades. The clock continues to run. And how do you stop that?
If they're not gonna hit him, if you can't hit him because he's too fast, there's not much you can do against that. Like Service, he's not going for the gusto. He's just trying to get positive yards. And off this step, no one's catching him. Great block.
You also see the motion from the BIC defense. All of them are moving away from the quarterback. So with his acceleration, that's a great handoff fake to set himself up. But it's also impeccable blocking so far from the Renegades. And guys, if you just count Service's games against BIC, he's likely the MVP of this league.
More than likely. The handoff, no play action, pressure, throws this one deep, almost picked off by H.V. Frazier. Flag on the play.
And they're going to call holding on offense, it looks like.
An interesting call here.
Now the ball is way overthrown. No, now it obviously switches if we see Frazier's upset about it.
Oh, but we see Kenny Stansbury clapping as well. And coming up at the top of the hour or at the end of this game, whichever comes first, will be the Animals and the Watchmen. Our national game of the week. Right? Yeah. But 26-25 your score.
Really imagine it being the first quarter still.
Offset, replay the down.
And two offsetting penalties. We will replay first down.
Who does that hurt more in this game? BIC or
I think it hurts the Renegades more because the yards. I think it gives the BIC the benefit of the doubt because if that offensive penalty doesn't get called, the Renegades are in prime position to take the lead back. This gives them a bit of a buffer. It resets things essentially, puts everybody kind of back on even playing field.
Right.
But it saves the BIC, I think, more than it saves the Renegades because we've seen the Renegades find ways to rip huge chunks of yards, especially with service.
Well, and the way the Renegades have been successful is when they've been physical on offense, whether it's the one-on-one catches or the running game.
They go small again in terms of running back. Ward and Baisden at either top and bottom of your screen. Pressure, service, met. He will find the seam. He will get the first down and more. He will take the lead back as the Renegades and Anthony Service are finding the BIC's weak spot and exploiting it like the Death Star. Will the BIC find a way to respond? Touchdown, Renegades.
That's his third on the ground, and he has the one in the air, the spectacular throw to Megalodon. This is just a confident quarterback going through his
it seems
progression.
like that call got called back.
Of course it did.
No touchdown.
Oh, no.
What happened now?
Holding again.
Where?
They're saying it's maybe on Dondre, who has this guy on the ground. I don't know.
Come on, man. Let the boys play, man.
Well, listen, the refs are calling it a certain way, and the Renegades need to make the adjustment.
Holding number 8.
That doesn't
gotta
really
stop
help
holding.
clarify us because
let's
so many
clear.
of these offensive
holding.
linemen have single digits.
They definitely have to stop holding. Holding is insane.
But you see that the BIC defense has no answer if they send extra guys on as pressure to the quarterback breaking free and then getting to the second level. It's kind of like they're getting a taste of their own medicine that they've been getting away with Sterry Codrington as his quarterback for years.
Sounds about right.
It's almost like karma.
It'll be 1st and 20. Don't mind the down marker after the penalty. The snap, pressure immediately thrown, brought down, met immediately by the defense, tried to scrape some yards out of it, but could not get out the blocks. The BIC defense came hunting right there.
No offense to that guy. I really don't like him at running back. It hasn't looked good since he's been back there. I also think he's putting Service at risk with each pitch that he throws him. All it takes is a good lineup to put a guy extending Service out. You get what I'm saying?
Oh, Francis back out there.
Listen, I'd much rather him not be on that offense.
But right now, if you are sick with it or the stealth, scouting this game,
I'm scared.
Well, I would say the Sickwit and the Stealth should focus on their matchup that's happening later today first, and then maybe they can worry about this.
I'm just saying if they're watching at home, off the screen to Kyle Ward. Kyle Ward on second down.
Good block by Smalls, man.
We'll get it
looks
to
like they get to the
41.
Is that the original line of scrimmage, or do they somehow get back to the first down?
I believe that's the initial line of scrimmage.
Well, and I'll say this about both of the Vegas teams. If they are watching this, they better be prepared to play this style of football because this is where we're at this level of the A7FL playoffs. And neither one of these teams look like they're backing down even an inch.
It'll be 3rd and 11.
Yeah, so they got back to the initial line of scrimmage approximately, which is a great play from Smalls getting out and blocking for Kyle Ward.
1:09 left to go. The BIC said it looks like Sterry Codrington on the line. The BIC send pressure. The throw on 3rd down. Caught. Baisden finds a way to move through. Ball almost gets uppercutted out by Codrington.
Yo, Codrington.
The Meg.
Yo, Codrington's a smart defensive. There's a universe where Codrington is the best corner in A7.
Yeah, well, listen, you could talk about the defense on a conversion on 3rd down. I'm going to talk about the offense. Let's start with what BIC lined up with. They had Deontay Henderson and Mark Bagway. Mark Bagway is a free rusher, and Service rips a dart over the middle of the field to a wide-open receiver, and the Meg
phenomenal tackle,
takes a chomp.
And just great wherewithal.
Gets first down.
And great wherewithal by Basden there, just to keep that ball and move his elbow and position himself to not get it knocked out by Codrington. 1st and 10. Could be the last play of the 3rd quarter.
Boom.
Service.
Look at the patience of Service, man.
Yeah, but he's got to get upfield because there was a seam and he has the speed. When he waits and does the same thing his running backs that have not been successful does and goes horizontal, you're allowing for the speed and aggression of BIC to catch up to you.
3 quarters down, 15 minutes left to go. The Renegades are knocking on the door. Can the BIC stop them on a Sunday afternoon? We find out who's buying plane tickets next. Back live. It's the start of the 4th quarter, and if you've got thoughts, and we know you have thoughts, drop a comment, get a shout-out. Download Locker Room Chat today. Find out more information at a7fl.com/chat, the official chat of the A7FL. 15 minutes remain in our Eastern Conference semifinal. The BIC with a 1-point lead, 26-25, but the East Orange Renegades are knocking on the door. But, gentlemen, it is the 4th quarter, which means if the Renegades score here, the get-back would be in play on either end. If the BIC and the Renegades find themselves losing and getting a throw-off or tied, we'll get into those situations a little bit later, but a unique spin we have here in the 4th quarter as the clock starts to run. Service with Mo Francis set up to his right to throw to the end zone. Swatted away! Kesan Campbell!
He's the MVP of life. There's the what?
Of
what?
Not the league of
Bro,
life.
What? Kesan has listen. You understand the touchdown he just saved?
Yes,
I do actually.
Like
I do.
so now, not only is he making an impact on offense and breaking records, he's stopping guaranteed touchdowns to keep the man. Listen, Kesan's that guy, man. I like that guy.
If only he caught that and then absolutely.
Oh no, yeah, there's no question.
Punched a hole in the soul of all the Renegades fans and players. You know who Anthony Service reminds me of today, gentlemen, at least so far?
Talk to me.
Vince Young, Rose Bowl against USC. Everything's easy.
Ooh.
I don't know how the heck you compared him to me, but this guy right now looks to be unstoppable. The only way he was stopped on that play is because no one could have thought that a corner on a wide receiver is coming all the way across the field to stop the
3rd
speed
down,
option.
Service
Pass.
over the middle to Ward. Ward gets the ball to the 5 and is stopped by a collection of Campbell, H3 Frazier, and Mark Bagway.
Now, it wasn't end goal to go, so I think they might have gotten the first down, which is really important there. But if they don't,
it is first and goal.
Yeah, and with the running back that they have in the backfield right now, they're seriously going to have to look at trying to punch this in.
And we need to know where the sticks were.
If I'm them, I'm not looking to punch it. You have to trick Henderson into biting on dealing with your massive running back and just have service hop through.
Yeah, you call a speed option and you leave one of those guys to have to make a decision. Do I tackle the acceleration of service, or do I put my whole body into tackling the strength of Mo Francis? And I don't think that's the running back that they have in the backfield. They got Kyle Ward, which is a whole nother set of problems. Yeah, but first and goal, BIC is in a situation where this is almost a must stop.
Oh, look who they have on Kyle Ward, though.
Kyle Ward will walk this one in. Yeah. Touchdown, Renegades.
Anywhere to stop it. Kyle Ward again for the Renegades, big.
Yo, their play calling has been impressive. I'm telling you, I don't know who's calling it, but they've been doing a good job.
And we're trying to see if the touchdown, it looks like the touchdown will stand.
So that'll be 31-26. That's 5. So at a minimum, for the Renegades to hold serve, no pun intended, if BIC were to score and get the 6, the Renegades are now forced to have to convert at least 1. Now, if they go for the 2 from the 10, this is where the championship points get really interesting and the strategy of the A7FL comes into play. If they go for the 2 and get it, then they would be up then 7, forcing BIC to have to convert. Now, it looks like they're going to go for 2 based on where the defense is lined up. So I think this is the right call. But the execution of this play may be more important than it's ever been for the Renegades.
12-18, dead ball play. Going for 2, pressure, service will be stopped. Ole Bell.
Yeah, he tried that on the wrong guy, man. I'm not going to. I know Ole's old, but he ain't that old.
And if you want to get protected, get the Gator Skin Shiesty, shown to proven to protect you up to 79% when it comes to concussion risks. Find out more and get yourself one with 10% off from the code A7FL25 at GatorTech.com. That's GatorTech.com. Scan the QR code now. Matt Ryan joined alongside Big Rob Fabian, and it looks like we're going to run back this extra point. 31-26 your score. Unsure of what the call was.
Well, it's huge because, honestly, guys, it looked like a little bit of deja vu because I think it was the exact same play that they ended the overtime loss to BIC with. And they're going to replay the down at the 5, so it's still a 2-pointer. But it looked like offsides from BIC. Maybe that's why Ole Bell was able to get there so quickly.
That might be why. So going to 2-pointer.
They still got to punch it in, though.
They have to get the points here. Going for 2 from the 5. Throws, caught. Kyle Ward gets the championship points. 33-26 your score.
That's rough.
And look at, now it's a 7-point game, so that puts it. Look, BIC's shown that they could answer when they have to. Maybe not as easily as some might have expected, but now that's when the championship point, this opportunity from 5 yards after the offsides.
And it looked like Kesan had a track on it, just took half a step and assumed where that ball was going to go. And you can get custom athletic uniforms for athletes of all sports and ages. Grab yourself one or get yourself a custom A7FL jersey at tpg-sports.com. That's tpg-sports.com, where it's always effort over excuses. Matt Ryan joined alongside Big Rob Fabian and Corey Hammond. Right now, the Renegades have the lead, but with Ashante Worthy out there on a dead ball down, it is hard to count out the BIC. The return game has not been as prolific as you would want it to be in a situation like this, Rob and Corey. But
still dangerous, though.
Still dangerous.
This is their game. This is where BIC is probably, it's underrated. This is where they're the most dangerous. Their special teams has literally won them and lost them games. We have seen it, and we might be watching it again.
Damon Small throws this one. This will be a live ball picked up by Worthy. Worthy.
That's a good tackle, man.
Gets him down at the 28. And it will be okay field position for Codrington and company. They'll mark it actually at the 29. But with 12:18 left to go, the BIC only have 2 timeouts. and are down 7.
Well, and this is the situation BIC's in. I'll ask you guys a serious question. Have they been able to run the ball when they've wanted to with a running back?
They really gave up on running the ball.
They've given up on that since they stopped really rocking with courage.
Yeah,
I'm being honest with you.
So I think the answer is no.
New.
And have they been efficient in the air?
Not really.
I can't say that. I can't say this has been Sterry's
A lot of times
best
you
game
hear me at this
quarterback.
point say that Sterry's got to figure out a way to complete passes, but I think at this point you might have to put the Renegades in a position where they have to try to stop Sterry on the ground.
Codrington throws this one deep. Cannot get there. Kesan Campbell. Smart play, good design. Just Campbell under-anticipated the ball.
Maybe this is me being biased because I'm a BIC fan, right? I think Sterry just has to find a way to win the game. I don't think it matters.
Who cares?
I don't think it matters if he throws it, or he sidearms it. I don't think it matters because he's just a winner, and that's what winners do.
And that's what I'm saying. Most of the time, you would hear me,
that is not a stat line you want to see if you're a BIC fan. 4 for 11, 78 yards and a touchdown.
And look, again, let's take the 60-yard completion to Kesan Campbell out of it. That's crazy. Even worse.
That does look crazy.
And you got to think of one of those touchdowns was a 4th down in which Trey Robinson threw the touchdown to Ashante Worthy on a ridiculous fail of a speed option.
Oh no, he threw
it was Trey.
It was Sterry.
No, Sterry has one, but he doesn't.
He has one to
the 60-yard.
And there's Sterry Codrington. He gets on his bicycle. Codrington gets to the 45, and he got basically King Kong Bundy splashed.
He gets up comically. But here's the thing. Who cares, right? Normally, 38-year-old quarterback from the 90s, grew up watching and idolizing Dan Marino is going to say, oh, you got to complete the passes. Well, guess what? Sterry Codrington isn't necessarily going to have to do that. What he does have to do is get first downs and punch it in. And what he's shown so far is the best way that he's going to do that is to do things like this.
And if he doesn't slip up there.
Well, where Service goes out of bounds there and runs to the sideline, Sterry's looking
going
to score.
for it. Sterry's tough. He's built very tough.
Nearing the 10-minute mark, 1st and 10. Codrington throws it underneath, and that will go through the legs of Campbell. He'll Buckner it, and it'll be 2nd down.
And the poor execution of the play call may be actually to their benefit because that was eaten up immediately. And where they've gone with the more designed screens that have taken a little bit too much time to develop, what I would like to see if they want to get the screen game going, just throw to the wide receiver that's not covered with tight coverage. But this is where Service has been going to the sideline, and you see Sterry Codrington, even though he's a little bit dangerous with the football there, he's cutting back against the grain to try to force the defense to make the tackle, because if he breaks free from that, he has the speed to score.
That's a big guy that just fell on Sterry.
3 wide receiver set. Codrington with time. Campbell looking for the call, not getting it, and it will be 3rd down.
I don't see the call. You let the boys play right there. He's hip to hip.
And it's not even catchable.
Nah, it's not.
So it has to be a holding call. And
what's going on though, Corey? As a quarterback, what is going on with Sterry Codrington? Right, and they call
holding on the defense.
They do call it. Well, that might be why that pass doesn't look like it was there.
But he's sailing it too. Like it's not just that one. It's a lot of them.
You've seen the Keanu Reeves movie Replacements, right?
Yeah.
There's a moment in that movie they talk about quicksand, and that is a thing that can happen to a quarterback. Is where when you to flip it, when you are completing passes, your confidence continues to go up and up and up and up. So your muscle memory is now able to more accurately place the ball where you want to, because there's no hesitation on the split-second decision making the read and throwing the ball on time. What happens, though, when you are struggling is now you're aiming. Now you're changing your throwing motion. Now you're forcing the ball to guys because you want to throw it to Ashante Worthy because he's such a dangerous weapon. And it starts to unravel. The great thing about Sterry Codrington is even if he's having a terrible game in the air, look at the stats at the end of this game. If he has over 250 total yards on offense, and a lot of those are on the ground, really, who cares how he got it done? If they get out of this week and get a W. But again, we talked about the matchups later on, hypothetically, for BIC. If this is the BIC team that we've come to know, and they've had to kind of go with, Trey Robinson kind of had a wacky play for their first touchdown. They do the backstack and have Mark Bagway just pull a rabbit out of his hat and throw a touchdown. to save them earlier in this game. This is not the BIC team that goes to Vegas and dominates the Vegas team.
And we'll take a brief timeout after this. An injury on the field. We will return with more action in just a moment. The Renegades lead with 8:50 left to go in the fourth. This is the A7FL playoffs. Stay right where you are. Back on the A7FL playoffs, Matt Ryan joined alongside Big Rob Fabian and Corey Hammond. An injury on the field has us delayed for the moment. The BIC with the ball. And if you want to unlock the power of your video, scan the QR code now and take a look at what our partners at Scene can do for you with shoppable prompts and more. Go to SEEN.com. That's SEEN.com. See how it works on A7FL.tv, or just skip the line and scan the QR code right now. BIC with the ball. They get the benefit of a penalty and a bit of a break here for their offense. Not really what you want, but with 8:50, the idea here, the BIC are down 33-26. They need a touchdown and a 2-point convert and 1 point to tie, 2 points to take the lead. If they miss the extra point or they tie it, the get back is in play on the return, which means if they can stop the returner for the Renegades be underneath the 20, behind the 20-yard line or at the 20-yard line, then the BIC would get the ball back at the 50 and completely change the momentum of this game. We saw it happen in the playoffs 2 weeks ago, Rob and Corey. Right now, if you're the BIC offense, if you're the BIC sideline, if you're Kenny Stansberry, what is it in the back of your head that you're working on to make sure that you not only retake the lead or get the tie, but make sure that you stop this Renegades offense that, in terms of the rushing game, has made the Trenton BIC defense on their back foot all day?
Yeah, well, if you're the BIC offense, what you do in a situation like this is what's been working. Right. And as great as it is to score 26 points at this part in the game, if they're being honest with themselves, not a lot has worked perfectly. So what they're going to have to do is manufacture, misdirections like they did with the previous run play from Sterry Codrington, where they threatened the defense horizontally with Mark Bagway and then take advantage of the seam that it created. Or they're going to have to then give it to a Mark Bagway. Give him an opportunity, maybe on a throw or a run, because he's been pretty effective in the one opportunity he's had to make that decision and use his ability to change the game as one of the best playmakers in our league. But really what it comes down to is we have to, if we're BIC, remember who we are and play to the back of what our card is. And if they can raise their level, I think that they're in a good spot in this game, but they haven't shown it yet, so we'll see.
We will see. We'll take another brief timeout, and when we return, action hopefully will be thrown back off here from Asbury Park. Your score, the East Orange Renegades 33, the Trenton BIC 26. We'll be back with more action on a beautiful day in Asbury Park. It's winter go-home season. It's the A7FL playoffs. Stay right where you are. (33-26), your score, 8:50 left to go in our fourth quarter. Matt Ryan joined alongside Big Rob Fabian and Corey Hammond. As soon as this game is done, we will be live back here at Asbury Park with the Watchmen battling the number 2 seeded Silk City Animals. And we are on upset watch here as the Renegades, who barely walked out of a showdown with the QC Crush in our opening round of the playoffs, have a tenuous lead on the Trenton BIC. Following an on-field injury, the BIC will have the ball 1st and 10 after a defensive holding penalty. And
one of the biggest effects here in a situation like this, momentum was pretty heavily on the side of the Renegades. And I think they were riding that momentum a little bit. I think the confidence that they built with what they've done in this game should make them feel really confident continuing into the end of this fourth quarter. But with this kind of lull, this malaise, it almost completely diminishes the positive effects of momentum when it basically gets reset to almost like, let's start from scratch. And that, in my opinion, really benefits BIC in this situation because they've had a lot of time to talk about what could work and what they should be doing. And they maybe have had enough time even on the defensive side to talk about what adjustments they're going to have to make on that side of the ball to keep the lead if they do get one. Because this game is very far from over, even if BIC is able to succeed on this drive. Because with 8:50 left, each of these teams likely get at minimum 2 possessions, maybe a total of 3 each. And if that's the case, then both of these defenses are going to have to be called upon to make huge stops. And so far, the Renegades have stopped the BIC more than the BIC have stopped the Renegades, guys. And that's crazy.
That is a little crazy. And Rob, right now, with everything going on,
I mean, the Renegades team, I'm sorry if no one's ever said it. This Renegades team, in my opinion, was specifically built to beat BIC.
that makes sense.
So to me, what we're seeing is exactly what's supposed to be happening. This team is crafted, hand-built. They got the size, they got the quarterback, they got the offensive line, they got the specifically to beat BIC. So if BIC struggles against a team that literally has the attributes they need to beat them, it's not a surprise. It's just you expect BIC to win either way, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. And let us know your thoughts at a7fl.com/chat. At a7fl.com/chat. Ryan Rio saying Bagway is strong, not going to lie. And yeah, Mark Bagway is strong, and he in the backstack was a great weapon for the BIC offense. Not utilizing Trey Robinson as much in the running game. Rob, do you feel abandoning that was an issue for the BIC?
No.
Because it makes it either Sterry runs or Sterry throws. At least that's what the scheme feels like for the BIC offense. But we'll have more on that and have Rob's takes on a lot of things on the other side of this break. It's 33-26. We'll have more action for you here on the A7FL playoffs in just a moment. Back live with 8:50 left to go. The Baltimore Watchmen and the Silk City Animals will face off at the top of the hour. Following an injury, we are still waiting to continue play here on the A7FL Games of the Week. Matt Ryan joined alongside Big Rob Fabian and Corey Hammond. Let's see and set our 4 o'clock game just a little bit. Animals and the Watchmen. Winner of this game.
Animals.
Go ahead, Corey.
Well, Animals Watchmen, the story is in the previous post seasons, doesn't work out for the Animals when these two teams plays, but in this season, that the 2020 whatever we're in, because it feels like it's 2029 at this point. The 2025 season, Animals beat the Watchmen head to head, so it'll be interesting because I think one of the resurgence that is made me maybe the most happy this season was Ace Boogie at quarterback for the Watchmen against maybe making his coming back out party against this Renegades team when we got them games of the week in one of those classics that we had earlier this season. So Is David Tender healthy? Because we haven't seen him in a while.
Is
CJ enough if he's not healthy, David Tender? And is this Watchman team sick and tired of not being in the conversation for a championship contender while everyone else wants to talk about Mr. Marketable? Sorry for the rhyme, David Tender. I don't know. I think as great as this game has been, we might get a similar performance as soon as we wrap this one up.
Rob, what's your take on the Animals? We haven't heard your take on the Animals and the Watchmen in a couple of weeks because you were on assignment. By that I mean vacation. But what do you take out of this matchup the last 3 years? This will be the third straight year they play each other in the playoffs. The Watchmen have won both times. Quattro Huffin, a quarterback 2 seasons ago. David Tender, a quarterback a year ago. This Animals team feels different. I think Omari Thomas is a huge weapon. But what is your take on things?
It's a spiritual rivalry where it's like these are the guys that have stopped us from getting to the promised land twice in a row. And we have an opportunity this year with arguably, I mean, I don't know if it's an argument, our best team ever to date. This is our chance to do it. Are we going to allow the Watchmen, who in a lot of people's opinions are a team that's like over the hill, are we going to allow them to stop us from getting to the point we need to be? I'm hoping David Tender shows up. I do think CJ is enough. I do. When he's focused and CJ's brain is like a laser, he's really good. But it doesn't take away from the fact that David Tender is who he is and can make magic happen. So I'd like to see David Tender out there. I'd like to see the Animals actually win that game because they need to get over the hump. This is the hump. The Watchmen are the playoff hump. If they can get over that, we're talking about a whole different situation with the Animals.
And as we are live here, K-Wax dancing in the slow drift of the camera, much like the white smoke at the Vatican, means play will continue. With 8:50 left to go, the BIC with the ball, down 33-26.
And you see the confidence of the defensive line from the Renegades. Those 4 enormous young gentlemen are going to rush against the 3 blockers for BIC. So that means that at minimum there will be 1 free rusher that Sterry Codrington has to account for. But the trade-off is only one-on-one coverage on Mark Bagway, Ashanti Worthy, Kesan Campbell, respectively. This is the A7FL.
Rob, right now, if you had to place a wager, would you place it on the D-line or the wide receiver core of the BIC to win out in who will have the leverage play on this one?
Right now, I'm looking at that D-line.
A little bit of technical difficulties there in Asbury Park. As we have visual, but we will go back to live action in just a moment.
Yeah, I put my money on that D-line right now. Not saying that wide receiving core is
Matt
disgusting.
Ryan here with you on the A7FL Games of the Week. We are live across Fox Soul and also all of our partners. If you're just joining us, Alex Soberman, our producer, David Soberman, our director, Rob Fabian and Corey Hammond joining you. If you're just joining us expecting Watchmen and the Animals, we are in some extra football here. The BIC and the Renegades winner go home season. The Renegades with the lead against the number 1 seed in the East. Will the BIC as the top seed fall in Asbury Park for a second straight year in the playoffs? Rob, I cut you off before we were joined by our new audience. What were you saying before that regarding our 4 o'clock regarding this game right here?
This game right here. Okay, yes. I was saying I was putting my money on the D-line. Not to say that the wide receivers of BIC aren't elite. We're talking Bagway. We're talking Ashanti Worthen. We're talking about Kesan Campbell. But if that pressure gets there before Sterry can get something off, and he hasn't been having a great game, it's not going to work out.
Codrington will run through the defense. He will find the sideline. He will spin out of it. He will stay up. He will use Ashanti Worthy as a blocker. Foul on the play, and Codrington gets to the 22 feeling like Taylor Swift, feeling at the top of his game. First down, BIC. The flag, we'll see who it's on.
And where it's thrown, even if it is holding, it'll likely be a first down for BIC. They'll just lose the yardage. But again, you're going to allow for this play to develop. They don't even have to block all four.
Yikes.
He has that man in a headlock.
Yikes.
K-Wax in a headlock.
Are they going to call holding on K-Wack when it's the defensive player that's holding him? That's holding on the Ashanti.
That's not a hold. This is what I'm saying.
That's holding on Ashanti.
This is what I'm saying. They can be upset at me for criticizing it. I'm going to do it. Call it even on both sides. I saw 3 holding on that one positive play. If the other guys do it, it's an instant flag. Call it even. That's all I'm asking. If you're going to call holding like a maniac, call it even on both sides. That's all I'm asking.
So they get the yards, but now it's first and 10, but they don't get all of the yards.
It's 1st and 15 after the penalty, the toss, and that is to Mark Bagway. Mark Bagway will scream towards the yard marker to make it 2nd and 10 after the carry by Bagway on the quick toss.
And it is technically a forward pass, so Sterry's going to definitely get that completion on his
correction. It was 1st and 10. It is now 2nd and 4.
Yeah, because the 10-yard penalty was a spot foul after the first down was already gained. So Ashanti getting out there and blocking for his quarterback, great. Holding, not so great. But Rob, you called it. There's opportunities for refs to call flags on almost every play.
Codrington on 2nd down. Gets hit while he throws. Incomplete.
It's not a fumble.
It's not a fumble. It's a hit, but this is what I was talking about when I'm saying if I'm putting money. If you're saying
I don't know what the Renegades. Listen, the Renegades are trying to say that this is somehow a fumble.
No, it's not a fumble.
No, they're trying to mark it as a flag.
Flag on what?
I don't know what's going on anymore.
This is what I'm saying. This right here.
If he punches it out of his hands, he
threw it. He threw it.
He definitely threw it. He got hit though. We gotta.
I mean,
that was clean all the way through? Yeah.
He does smack it though. Take a look. He smacks the ball.
He completes the pass though. No,
forward. I don't know.
Tuck rule? I don't know.
I don't think so.
You're not going to – listen, of all the calls they're going to finally give the Renegades,
it's not going to be that one.
It's not going to be this. It's not.
It won't be that one.
He finishes his motion. That's an incomplete pass.
Yeah. Listen, maybe
I'm not calling it.
Maybe we're wrong. I don't know. We're not.
Because look. Does the arm even finish going forward? It gets hit. Look,
he finishes.
Here.
He finishes his motion.
No, I'm not saying that. We could disagree. I don't mind,
bro.
I'm not
so you're saying that physics halts in Asbury Park at this exact moment in like about 3 seconds.
Very strong. That's what I'm saying.
Physics halts, and the ball that's going forward.
That ball's coming out before he throws.
Yeah, but
I'm not the one making the call.
If the quarterback's arm propels it forward, even if he's losing it as it comes out, it's still a forward pass.
I agree. I don't want BIC to lose the ball. I think that would
I don't care what happens in this game. I've played for both of these teams. I could literally say that almost every week we call games.
That's an insane stat line, Corey.
That is. CJ's talking about how he beats teams. I'm talking about how I've been a member of them.
Corey has each jersey, bro.
We take a
look.
They
probably have a jersey of mine on their sideline right now.
Probably.
Bro, this is absolutely forward. Physics doesn't work that the ball goes forward 10 yards and it not be, the quarterback that caused the forward momentum of the football. Because you're right, Rob. There is contact on the football as the ball is beginning to release. But here's the elbow. It goes out right here.
Hits it.
Skadoosh.
Yeah, he never goes far. I'm not tripping. You saw it. That's why you got quiet.
Okay,
I'm not making the call, though.
He makes contact with the ball, and it starts to come out of his hands.
I'm not making the call.
But the finish of the throw propels the ball forward. It didn't somehow bounce off of the defensive end's hands that far. I'm sorry.
I'm saying Sterry is very strong. I'm saying the power from Sterry could have been coming from all the way back here.
If anything's wrong on this play, it's all of what's happening to Chum after that. The hand placement from Chum What happens on the bottom half, all of it's wrong.
Yeah, all that
after the
holding.
play.
Look at the big hat. Big hat's watching the holding and doesn't call it. Let it have been me back in my prime, and I would have closed my hands like this, holding immediate flag. Chump could hug and tug and pull, nothing. Shouts to Will
I think
Franklin.
the problem is that he's about to hold and tug and pull right there. It is a problem.
Shouts to Will Franklin, man, for calling holding on me and not Chum. Shouts to you, Will.
As we wait for the call, and it is 26-33 with your score, with 7:17 left to go. And with not a lot of time left.
I don't like looking at this replay. just because, look, ball's out here. The ball's out. It's out before his arm does that, but I'm not making the call.
He starts. Here's the thing. I think this is how you clarify it. He starts to lose possession. That's why it's coming out of his hand right as it's about to release. But the forward momentum of his arm still propels the ball forward.
I agree. I don't disagree.
Listen,
I really don't. I don't disagree.
How they rule this is how they rule this. That's just how close this game has been.
I just don't like how it looks. And when the refs are playing the way they're playing.
It will stay 3rd and 4. The play on the field will stand as an incomplete pass.
I'll say this. The Renegades have played great football, and they have plenty of excuses if they lose this game to go back to. But what they need to do is just win.
That's Ashante Worthy. Worthy gets to the marker, keeps it moving, and will get stopped and denied at the 25. But a first down for the BIC as the clock will continue to run here in the 4th. If you are just joining us on Fox Soul, on Triller TV Plus, on Fight 24/7, it is the BIC taking on the Renegades. As soon as this game is over, we will be bringing you our second East Coast semifinal, the Watchmen and the Animals, and a flag on the play.
I mean, that's one of those Sterry Codrington's trying to call the play early because there's nobody covering a guy. But on the other side of the field that he wasn't looking to, it looked like the receivers weren't even set for BIC.
No, they were walking off. It seems as if they were just walking off.
So the miscommunication there from BIC's offense, it shows the level of near desperation from this offense. Now, I don't think they're desperate. They got plenty of playmakers that they could just give the ball like they just did to Ashante.
Plenty of playmakers and plenty of time.
And look, 6:44 left to go. If they can tie
I mean, when we restarted this clock after the really long break, it was 8:50. They've already, and it seems like 0 plays that counted, got rid of 2 minutes. They've been doing work to this clock for sure.
Trying to walk it down here despite being down by 7. Codrington throws, and that one cannot get to Campbell. It'll be 2nd down.
Bro, it's sidearm time, man. I know it's sidearm time. It's not working. The QB play is not working.
Rob, let me pitch a hypothetical to you. You walk the clock down to, like, say, 3 minutes.
Yeah.
You score. You tie the game. You have the get back. You throw Mark Bagway, Sterry Codrington, and Ashante Worthy at Kyle Ward. Does Kyle Ward get past the 20-yard line?
Yes.
Likely.
Yes.
So
Kyle Ward is tough, man. He's tough.
3 wide receiver set. 2nd and 15. Codrington throws this one to the end zone, and Worthy could have had it, but it'll be 3rd down.
I don't think he could have. It's just not there. And it's not bad coverage.
No, he gave up on it. It looked like it broke the wrong way or whatever.
Well, it's again, Rob's saying go to the sidearm, but really, if the ability for Sterry Codrington to do that sidearm, which isn't a sidearm throw, by the way, we're making the reference to like a game like Call of Duty where you have an extra weapon to go to, right? So his extra weapon is to take off. But if you watch the way that the Renegades are rushing him, there isn't an area that he can just attack and easily get yardage. So credit the defense from the Renegades. But on 3rd and 15, at this point, was there a moment that they have completed a pass in this situation? I don't know. Not yet.
3rd and 15. Codrington will get on his bicycle, and he will be stopped at the 20, and it will be 4th down.
And look, you get 4 yards to make it a little bit more manageable. But again, when you rush the quarterback and you honor those lanes, he takes off almost immediately, and there's literally nowhere for him to go, even if he was to get to full speed.
Season on the line.
And guess what they do is they put Mark Bagway in a backstack to be like, hey, buddy, you want to help us out?
Codrington launches this one to Bagway, and it's incomplete. It is incomplete on 4th down, but looking for a flag and not getting it is the BIC as Codrington was down at the 35.
That is poor quarterback performance from Codrington.
But even more so, that was probably the best coverage I've seen on any play for the Renegades. And even more importantly, the way that they rushed the passer on that play gave Sterry Codrington no option other than to make an absolutely perfectly thrown ball, which to be clear, he hasn't been able to do yet today. So Renegades get the ball with 4:27 in a position where they're up by 7, which means that BIC has to score and convert. They're sitting pretty, but they cannot rest on their laurels. If they want to win this game, the best thing that they can do is score here, go up by 2, and then say, now what do you do with Shante Worthy on the 3-on-1?
In 6 chances before this, the Renegades never have beaten the BIC. They got close in week 1. They're up by 7 and knocking on the door to a trip to Vegas. Anthony's service is met by Trey Robinson and brought down at the 25. It will be 2nd. Service making something out of that one as the clock will continue to wind down in Asbury Park.
It's not what you want to do here. I don't think the best idea here is to score. You don't, or even not even saying trying to score. I think every goal here should be getting to a 1st down and running that clock out.
Yep. You are trying to force them to burn timeouts. You were trying to force that 2-minute warning in the same way that the BIC ate 2 minutes earlier.
But as a play caller in this situation, if you play it safe, you play into the defense that's going to be extra aggressive to try to stop and get, tackles for loss.
So keep them honest.
2nd and
Speed
6.
Option to the side.
Flag on the play. False start on the delay a game on the offense, and that will stop the clock and make it 2nd and 11.
And that's what you don't want to do is go backwards. On 2nd and 6.
You call me, I'll be there. Listen, whenever BIC needed one of them yellow paper, listen.
I don't know about that. On that 4th down play,
that's
on that 4th down
play,
there could have been a yellow handkerchief allegedly.
I'm trolling. BIC's gonna hate me. It's okay. I'm just upset. Okay.
My pitch to Damon Smalls. Damon Smalls looking to widen history and can't get in there.
Wow.
The 1st down, the clock will continue to run. The clock stops. See if there's a flag on the play. There is.
There's several.
There is.
Are you surprised?
Not at all. Not at all. But
you
here
don't
we
see
are.
The handkerchiefs everywhere? I'm not surprised. Let's see what they call. Interesting.
You would think it's like the Vegas Gold are playing this game with as much yellow as we've seen
on the field. Like, holy, my goodness.
What is the call even? Heads up play from Mo to get it to a guy who can turn the tables really quickly.
But the pitch was so quick, I missed it. I missed the pitch completely. I don't even know when it happened.
I just saw a big, enormous man just running up the sideline, and I knew that's what would have to happen.
Big fellas don't run that fast unless there's a goal, all right?
And that goal is to knock the BIC out. The East Orange Renegades have been talking all season about how they are in the upper tier of the A7FL, and a win here.
Proven it so far today. Win or lose, they've proven it today.
Oh, no, for sure. But I do have a question.
Holding on the offense is the call.
Wow. If anybody was wondering.
Wow.
if anybody had any doubts of what that possibly was called.
Oh, it's positive play for the Renegades? Holding. Guaranteed.
Nah, don't do that narrative.
Don't do that narrative, Rob.
Don't
do that, Rob.
Don't do it.
If that's what you want the narrative to be, Rob won't do it, but go to the locker room chat.
I won't.
Do the read, Matt.
Go to a7fl.com/chat. That's a7fl.com/chat to castigate Big Rob Fabian.
Listen, Matt, I love that button to press on Matt.
Listen, we're basically saying that in order for the Renegades to score once, they have to score twice because the first one is guaranteed going to be called back. We've been watching it all game, but okay, cool.
Listen, if they want to beat, if they want to win,
the
just keep winning.
handoff, he is met. He bounces to the outside.
He got one,
but he is brought down in another flag.
And what now? And what
Are
now?
they saying he went? H3 Frazier saying he went for the wrap, but also a call, possible holding on the offense again.
Was it holding or clipping? Because it looked like a block in the back.
What is it?
We're trying to.
It's going back. It looks like it's going backwards. Are we surprised?
All right. So to Rob's point, just to crystallize, listen, we could say all we want because let's say we agree with somebody that was on the Renegades side saying that these are maybe not necessarily fair calls. If you're the Renegades and they keep calling it, then you have to make the adjustment because the refs are calling
do the opposite. It is
do something other than that. Do something different.
It is a long way to go. They are set up inside their own 15.
Oh, my goodness.
Up by 7. The Renegades hand it off to Mo Francis. Mo Francis almost gets stripped. And play will stop after a moderate gain of about 2, but the clock will continue to run with 3:09. Tick, 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 tick. Left to go in our first of 2 games in Asbury Park. If you're just joining us and wondering why it's not Baltimore and Silk City, East Orange Renegades and the Trenton BIC have played a close and contentious game, marred by penalties, injuries, and cacophonies of chaos. And now the Renegades look for their first ever win over the BIC and enter their first ever A7FL Final Four with a showdown against the Las Vegas team. On the other side of this, Ward in motion. Kyle Ward chased down and pushed out of play. The clock will continue to run. Ole Bell on the tackle, and it will be 3rd down.
And it looks like
timeout called.
I think he ran him out of bounds.
He did, but we're still above 2 minutes.
It doesn't stop.
The clock doesn't stop running.
Let me ask you a question, though. Hypothetical. Because, again, this game's wide open. This game's not done.
No.
There is no clear-cut
winner. The last minute 44 of the second
now.
half, of the first half, took about a half an hour.
Yeah, let's be real. BIC loses this game. Is it over? Is it time to stop talking about BIC as the best team in the East?
I don't know if it's time for that, but I think it's time to have a conversation about how the Eastern Conference has vastly improved. I think it's time to have a conversation for how the Silk City Animals and the East Orange Renegades went from the basement to the upper tier of the A7FL and are knocking on the door to the championship semifinals. At the start of the season, a lot of people thought the Renegades would be good, but I don't know if they thought they'd be 224 away from a flight to Vegas good against a BIC team where we saw Deontay Henderson and Mark Bagway on the field today. But the story, Corey Hammond, has been the tale of 2 quarterbacks, Anthony Service and Quattrell Huffin. It looks like they've done a body swap from what we've seen comparatively from their first game against each other in the opening week to now. Service seemed like on the decline, and Sterry Codrington was on his way to another MVP season.
Yeah,
but
well, against every other team but BIC, Anthony Service hasn't looked like as good. He's had some ups, he's had some downs, he's had some good, he's had some bad. But against BIC, in that first performance, just look at the total output, 41 points against BIC in week 1, your first time playing an A7FL game. And then today, he's made magic happen in a lot of situations. And none need to be more magical than maybe on this position right here.
2nd and 17. The throw from Service. Caught, knocked, and incomplete. Damon Small gets the literal gut check. And that was Kesan Campbell on the tackle.
And with the rule, that incompletion still has the clock running, so we'll probably bring it down to the 2-minute warning. And listen, if you're Trenton BIC, you really got your back up against it, but you still have all that you need if you're an A7FL team to somehow figure this out.
If you want to see history in the making, stay right where you are. Text a friend, telegram a friend, send it to your enemy, send it to your grandmama. Who cares? Is it overtime or adulation? Next! Back live here. It's the A7FL Games of the Week. Locker Room Chat. Drop a comment. Get a shout-out. Download Locker Room Chat today. A7FL.com/chat. And it seems like that was third down into fourth down. So Damon Small and the East Orange Renegades will throw it off here on fourth down. This will be an untimed down for the BIC, and that is caught inbounds by Ashante Worthy. Ashante Worthy catches that inbounds and tries to stay upright, but gives the BIC more than enough help, gets the ball to the 44. And
again, poor execution. Yeah, poor execution almost bails out a BIC offense that hasn't really successfully been able to drive a long drive down the field all game. Now they get the ball around the 50-yard line, 2 minutes left, 2 timeouts. They could even just kind of take what the defense gives them, check down runs, quick screens, and then just figure it out. But with Mark Bagway on the field and Sterry Codrington struggling, eventually you got to consider what it might look like with that young man being the guy who figures it out.
2 minutes and 2 timeouts. The throw underneath. That is Mark Bagway. Mark Bagway finds the seam slip. Slide into BIC. Are 1 point away from tying this one up.
Too much time.
But the big thing here is, though, Rob, is now as they go for the extra point, if they don't get it somehow, they have the 2 timeouts. Let's see the quick screen here. Not an easy throw, and an even more difficult play to make once you got the ball in your hand.
That's a great block by K-Wack. Great block by K-Wack.
Stays in bound the whole time. No way to get that one to go back. Take a look at the replay. Oh,
is he not?
Codrington hit after the throw.
That's not good either. But
is he not an anime villain that just comes in to break the heart of the
like
heroes?
Like the pretzel episode of The Simpsons.
I don't think it's them breaking the heart. You guys had an opportunity. You had 4 downs to move the ball forward. You keep making the mistake. You keep getting the holding call. Like you guys said, you do it. Like, all jokes aside, all right, holding call, cool. But you have to make the adjustment. If it's you that's getting it, open your hands.
And they're going to go
moving
those hands. Matt Riddick at quarterback. Oh my Rob, I'm having PTSD again. Remember when they had 9 guys and he was just running back and forth the entire time at quarterback? Oh my goodness. Almost beat us.
Going for 2.
Yeah,
down by 1.
Going for 2. They're
Matt
going for the win.
Riddick.
And Mark Bagway's in the backstack.
Ashante Worthy there as well. Riddick to Bagway. Mark Bagway.
This is the game.
Throws it to Matt Riddick. Matt Riddick finds a way through, and Matt Riddick crosses the goal line and gives the BIC
I don't see the refs. I don't see the refs.
Did they give it to him? Do they cross the Rubicon?
I don't see the refs.
Not again. Not
Why is
again.
it always
Not here. Not again. It's always here. No matter what we do, no matter where we go, this goal line haunts us like an ex-girlfriend with a grudge and a whole lot of capital. Bagway to Matt Riddick.
And it's a smart decision from Bagway because you definitely have an opportunity. But what
he's down. No, he's not.
He's in.
No, he's not.
He hits. His hand crosses before it hits. It's in.
He's in, bro.
Oh, the knees don't matter?
Knees don't matter. It's to cross the plane.
I'm just making sure.
His knee goes down, and he.
No. Both things don't happen at the same time. Don't do that. His knees down first, and then he crosses. Let's be specific here. We can watch it right here. We're going to see it.
Listen, I say he's in. Rob says he's not. Let's see now.
Rob doesn't know. It's inconclusive.
How? Just how?
What was the call? Because it has to be conclusive.
There was no. I didn't know a call.
Knee down, then crosses.
I don't know. It's so close.
Knee down, then crosses.
But he's already leaning forward. But here's the thing: his knee is down, but he's already leaning forward, and I think he's already.
If he crosses the plane,
reaching,
yeah, he's perfect. That's in. But knee down. And then he leans forward? No.
We know that the knee goes down. So when he's about to go down, look at his body posture when his knee go down right here.
Ooh, no, he's extending. He's extending.
Listen,
here's the angle. Here's the best angle.
Now, don't look at the knee.
I won't
Fans
look at
at home, don't look at the knee because we know it goes down. So let's watch his posture as he's falling down.
He's gonna slightly tuck the arm.
You'll see the shockwave. You'll see the shockwave when his knee hits because that's what happens.
He tucks the arm. That's what I'm saying. He slightly tucks the arm up, and then
I don't know. I don't know.
I wouldn't want to be a ref today. That's all I'm saying.
Me and you both, brother.
I'm cool. He slightly tucks the arm, and I'm gonna give the other argument because there's a couple of fans that are gonna see it that way, and there's a couple of fans.
We just need to know what the initial call was.
The initial call is huge.
Yeah,
the initial call we need to know what the initial call is.
Nothing. They didn't put their hands up or anything. We waited for it. There was no call. It's no good. That's the initial call.
If the initial call is no good, then this has to be clear. And either way, one of these teams is going to really be upset.
And the get back is still in play.
Bro, I think what I saw is that he reaches, then his knee.
The initial call is that he was in.
The initial call, that decides it.
Yep. There's no inconclusive. It's inconclusive. And tie goes to the runner on that one.
Renegades fans, A7FL.lockerroomchat.
A7FL.com/chat. Download Locker Room Chat now. Go to A7FL.com/chat. You were so close. You were so close.
Yeah, I should have just pressed the button. I should have just, boop, Matt, you do it.
Matt Ryan joined alongside Big Rob Fabian and Corey Hammond. Holy moly me.
Why didn't they put their hands up if he was in? There's so much miscommunication on that. Down tuck, yeah. No,
I mean, listen.
I don't see. If the initial call was he's in, I think the call is wrong. I'll go with that.
But is there enough to overturn it? Is it?
In my opinion,
conclusive?
In my opinion, we're doing all this slow-mo, if you slow-mo frame by frame, you will see as his knee goes down, he tucks the ball in a protective manner, and when he's falling forward, and it happens split second, it happens really quick. He tucks, then comes out. Then he reaches out.
The tuck, Rob, is him making
contact with the floor.
No, but he's also thinking that he might pitch this back at this exact moment.
Take a look. Tuck. That exactly.
Ooh. He's extending. He's extending.
Look at it again. Tuck.
Oh, he's down.
Okay.
It's so close.
All right. It's close.
I'm not. Close.
And I want it to be BIC scores it, but I like fairness because I don't want nobody to call me out talking about, oh, you're lying. You're the.
But if it becomes 30, even if it remains 30, here are the options for the BIC.
This is where we
right
set
now.
it. Yes, let's set it up.
Yeah.
If the if it stays that it was in, and it's 34-33, the Renegades have a untimed down.
Yep.
A minute 51 in all of their timeouts.
So
the BIC
they can be upset.
Yes, but they have a shot.
Right.
They have a shot.
They do have a shot.
But if it remains 33-32.
Also, BIC still has a shot.
They're running out on the field. The
Renegades are running around. I don't know what they're running around.
I don't know. I don't get it. I don't understand. Yeah, I don't understand.
Normally, when you see somebody like that,
if it remains 33-32, if the challenge is overturned, if the challenge is confirmed and the call is overturned, the BIC's best shot would be on the 3-on-1 return.
And you know what they can do with that.
They need to stop Kyle Ward behind the 20 for the get back. At the 20 or back.
Which just last week occurred.
Yes.
It actually happened.
It happened.
Rob, you might have missed it. Obviously, you're a little busy. Not only did they get the get back, but on 4th and 10, they fumbled the ball. Renegades recovered, and then the Renegades fumbled, and then it was against 1st and 10 for the crush.
Oh, my goodness.
Welcome to the A7FL.
These have been the craziest playoffs.
No, they haven't. This is par for the course. This is an everyday.
I know. If this was any other league, this would be the craziest playoffs in A7FL history. But
we are not like any other league.
Exactly, and you want to know why?
In so many ways.
In so many ways. And it is.
My goodness.
And it seems
what
like
talking about.
It looks like it looks like they're going to say that Matt
Riddick was out.
Was down.
The goal line again.
Yes, he was.
The goal line again.
Either way, these teams have to take what the call is, put whatever happened in this game, the entirety of this game behind them, and now with 151 left, figure out what they have to do moving forward.
And that is thrown into the end zone. That is a live ball, but it dances out of the end zone.
And
so
that's
the Renegades avoid disaster.
Right. And that's the only real downfall of that strategy is, yes, you want to throw it as far as possible, but if you throw it out of the back of the end zone, then it's kind of like an easy recovery for the Renegades. And now, really, if you're BIC, What you have to believe is that the Renegades throw a pass and get an incompletion because they only have 2 timeouts. If Renegades run, yes, BIC will get the ball back.
Mo Francis is in.
But 1 first down likely will end this game if the East Orange Renegades are able to push it 10 yards in 4 plays or less. Period.
Season on the line. The BIC went all in for a shot to get to Vegas.
And right now on the season, these teams are even as points scored.
Service will keep it. Ball's not
Oh,
close.
it's over. It's over. BIC wins.
They
BIC
pick it up
wins.
at
It's
the
over.
15-yard line. Anthony Service gives
Yo, you
up
have a
the
chance to
goat.
put BIC where you do that?
Oh my gosh.
Dumb.
It's not. Listen, I don't necessarily.
Dumb.
No, how does that happen?
That play has been working for them.
It's 1:50 left in the game in the fourth quarter. You're up by
Just secure the
point.
ball. It's not a bad play
What is
call.
this?
It's bad execution. Hold the football. Why are you holding it out there?
We were talking about it all game.
They don't got the experience to get past this, bro. BIC is always going to be BIC.
The game's
Doesn't
not
matter.
over, though. Game's not over. Renegades.
It's a
Stop.
1-point game, but the BIC didn't have to burn any timeouts, and the clock
Beautiful.
stopped.
Listen.
This is Ole Bell just being
Mo Francis, the shiesty got knocked off. Once the do-rag get knocked off, everything went topsy-turvy.
BIC's defense just did it, bro.
Watch Ole show how mad he is that he is yet to win an A7FL championship.
He wants one. Look at
He wants one that badly.
Ole freaking Bell.
And what did I tell you about putting Service in these predicaments? He doesn't need to be here.
But if he just tucks the ball like a football player always has been taught since he was 4 years old.
That's not his bag, bro.
It's 1:46. Barely
if your
any time went off the clock.
If your bag is not turning the ball over, and the other team has Mark Bagway, maybe tuck the football. I mean, he's played MVP level all game. But that mistake in that moment in this situation is as close to a choke as you will ever see.
That's a choke. That's a choke. Put the Reggie Miller memes on. I'm a Knicks fan and I'm hurt. I'm a Knicks fan and I'm hurt. I understand. Just they choked.
Now, guess what?
Choke.
Mark Bagway is in at quarterback.
Served choke, but the Renegades defense can step up and make the play if they have to. The great thing about the A7FL is there is no kicker that's going to come in and chip shot and win this game.
Yeah,
you have to punch it in, and just like we saw the last time BIC had an opportunity.
Challenge what?
What's the challenge?
8 players
on defense?
You can't. Come on. Can you challenge that? It's under 2 minutes. You can't challenge.
No way.
It's under 2 minutes. There's no chat. You can't challenge under 2 minutes.
BIC.
There's no chat. You can't challenge under 2 minutes. That's insanity.
No way.
Well,
there's no way.
And it can't be challenged. Yeah, there's no that's like Michigan taking a timeout when there's no timeouts left.
Good job, Chris Webber.
Mark Bagway in at quarterback. Codrington at the backstop. Watch.
Okay. GG's. Bye, everybody.
Mark Bagway.
Bye.
Slip slide. That is Mark Bagway.
Everybody.
I'm putting everybody on roller skates, but that will be incomplete.
Bye.
And that will stop the clock.
You understand what's happening here? Do you know how much time BIC? They put Mark Bagway there for no reason. They have so much time here to do a whole bunch of stuff. Now you got to deal with Sterry sidearm for real. Bagway potentially throwing the ball. Matt Riddick potentially throwing the ball. Ashante Worthy potentially throwing the ball. It's nothing but a bunch of guys that can throw the ball and catch it.
How bad do the East Orange Renegades want to win this game?
I don't know.
Because
Kesan Campbell for 6.
I'll also say this. This is the toughest spot, Rob, to score a touchdown when you
have seen numerous.
When you win, but listen, when you win the matchup in the defensive side in the secondary, it's easier to win that matchup when there's less ground to cover.
Second and 10, Bagway
for 6. Kesan Campbell for 6.
To Sterry Codrington off the
hands. Sterry drops it. Kesan wasn't open.
3rd and 10. No, he wasn't open, and Codrington hurt as he gets up.
They playing with fire with that.
Ooh, wow. 3rd down.
I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't have done that.
Well,
that's his right arm.
All he has to do is catch it. Well, he doesn't need that one. He's left.
No, but I know, but it's still like I'm indicating it's his right arm.
I mean, I think the most I would have did, I would have let I would have pitched it.
Matt Riddick and Ashante Worthy out there now with Kesan
Bro,
Campbell.
You would have done the exact same thing and thrown it to a very good player that, to be clear, has caught an interception against me. So when I throw the ball, apparently he has the greatest hit. No,
Kesan Campbell.
If you were wondering why it is Trenton and East Orange and not Baltimore and Silk City 37 minutes into the hour.
Yeah, and I predicted that we would still have an hour left to play. So who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows?
I predicted
it might
Tuesday.
come to fruition.
You're getting dangerously
Third
close.
and 10. Bagway.
Florida offense.
Throws to the end zone.
Kesan Campbell.
Can't hold on to it. He can't hold on to it, and it's fourth down.
Kesan, don't do this to me, Kesan
But
Campbell.
did he drop it or did he put the ball down after he missed with his foot?
Kesan, no.
We got to just show the replay.
Kesan, why? Oh, my God.
What? Are you?
We've
Rob,
gone
are
to
you
the
in
point of
booth
derangement
saying
here.
We again? Are you
No,
rooting for? No,
I believed in. I knew this was the one. Like throwing it to Kesan, game. Like,
wait, was that
that
was
that.
third?
That was third
That
down?
was third. So
That was
now it's fourth.
third.
No,
I think
is
it's
it
fourth
third down now? Can I get a clear down and distance, please?
I thought that was third. Damn. 3rd and 16. Yeah, I mean, I'd still feel a little safe.
The throw. That's to Ashante Worthy. First down, touchdown. BIC.
6.
For the first
are
time
they doing, the
ever,
Renegades?
Bagway to Worthy. The dream duo come together to drag
Imagine
Trenton
hearing
out of the jaws of defeat and get them one step closer to victory and a flight to Vegas.
Yo, go back to the way that formation was set up because they rushed to the line to try to catch the Renegades completely off guard, and they do. What they do is they take a lineman off, and they go Baltimore special. That's why Ashante Worthy, who is the last man who should ever be uncovered, is wide open on 4th down and season. But it's the composure, it's the ingenuity, and it's the excellence of BIC to somehow snatch this victory away from the jaws of defeat that they've been facing all
for 2.
day.
They are going for 2, trying to shut the door. Codrington back in at quarterback.
They're up by 5, so if they get the 2, then it's 7 again.
Hirsch watching on. Codrington will get on his bicycle. Will leave no doubt to it. It is incomplete.
There is a doubt. He didn't get there. Now
Wow.
he put his shoulder into it.
Kyle
but
Ward.
That is a great defensive play from Kyle Ward.
So with a minute 20 left to go.
The game is still alive.
Oh,
Yo,
my
this
goodness.
game is nuts. And they chatting. They going back and forth.
What do you do right here? If you're the BIC, we see them run in here.
You make the tackle.
Ooh,
on
yeah,
the
he is
3-on-1
stopped.
Return. Hey, guys,
the ball comes out.
if anybody knows what to do
Was the
here,
ball?
it's BIC.
Well, if the ball comes out before he's down,
It doesn't mean anything.
Well,
if the replay's running, who knows?
Yeah, the extra point, it doesn't really matter. It's case
Ball could just
on
come
that
out.
play. But here's the thing. The last time BIC had a do or die for their season 3-on-1, what did Danye Lions introduce them to? Because I think it was heartbreak. I think it was.
But if
a
it's
very
an
sour
untimed
taste.
down in a minute 20, and you give Ashante Worthy the ball,
I don't know how
Right-
hard.
right
how
now,
hard
if
has
you're
it been for
Kyle
BIC to
Ward-
manufacture points. BIC has manufactured 38 points. East Orange has scored 33.
yes.
BIC has had to concoct alchemically by mixing lead and magnesium, and it's still fool's gold.
It's science
but they're
versus
winning.
art. It's science versus art right now. And Bagway launches this one. A high arcing ball. That is a live ball that will bounce out of the end zone, and that will make Anthony Service return to the 20-yard line, where the last time we saw him in this Renegades offense, they gave up the GOAT and gave the BIC the door they needed to take a 38-33 lead.
58 minutes and 40 seconds have passed in this game. Throw it in the trash. Like it's a Tesla Cybertruck. Just throw it in there and close the lid. Because now Service is in a position that he probably would prefer to be in. Not up with the lead and having to manage without making a mistake. Now, hey, young man, get out there, play football, and win the game for us. Because in situations where he's been like this, the last time like they played against BIC, he's been able to figure stuff out. But here's the thing. They have 3 timeouts. So this whole field, they could easily score with the amount of time that they have.
The snap, service, rolls out, in trouble, throws it incomplete. The clock will stop. It'll be second down.
I don't love that play call. You know, when you do have pressure, a lot of times you will roll your quarterback out. But at a certain point, you could see Service's body language. There was nobody that was even capable of making a catch for him. But the good thing is that he makes the right decision, throws it out of bounds, and they keep the clock on their side. But if they don't get yards on the 2nd and 10, then they're facing a 3rd and 10 with their season on the line, and BIC is going to pin their ears back and try to absolutely erase Service's ability to win this game.
And the BIC, if they get either team, if they get this win, short-term memory because they have to lock in for a flight to Vegas next week. The snap, pressure, the screen. Kyle Ward can't hold on to it. It'll be 3rd down.
Now, the blocking wasn't perfect in front of him, but when you give Kyle Ward a chance, he can do some special things.
The problem here is the same thing that happened last time these guys went against BIC. You have a chance to put BIC away, so it puts all the pressure on a rookie quarterback in the A7FL service. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot to put on a guy who hasn't been in this position before in this league, because this league is very different than any other league you can think of. It's not the same whatsoever.
What's crazy is that in a do-or-die situation, they're only going with 2 blockers. So that means Service is going to have to either throw quickly
3rd and 10,
or make a man miss.
The pressure, the throw, and he can't hold on to it. And Renkowski can't wrench it out of there. The man that's been called upon as a top shark a few times today gets sent into the ocean, and it will be 4th down.
Yeah, 4th and season again. How many 4th and seasons have we had in this game so far? They have 3 timeouts, so even I don't know. There's a lot of ways that this can play out, and 5:33 of an end time for this game is looking more and more realistic with every play that passes.
Minute 9 left to go. 4th and 10. The Renegades.
I don't know why they think it's a good idea. Oh, no, they do bring the extra blocker in here. If they only had 2 guys protecting Service, they're just trying to lose.
3 deep. Season on the line. Service. In trouble. Throws. Caught. That's Damon Small. Small will keep it going.
It's close. I think he got it. Remember, it was thrown out of bounds, so it was a touchback, and no yards were gained. So where is he called down?
We've got to see the spot of the ball, because he had to get past the 30-yard line.
You start at the 25 on a touchback, right? So all he's got to do is get to the 35. And he's right there.
Service just... Trey Cohen tried to chase him down, switched it up. But Damon Small covered by Mark Bagway.
And look at the 2 men there fighting for the inches, and they do call it 1st down.
Under a minute left to play.
Oh, they
Watch
started
Kyle Ward, 1st and 10. Service gets the ball stripped again, and the BIC Robinson is going back to Vegas.
It's over.
Now, Renegades do have 3 timeouts. It's not over.
It is not over. But if anybody can ice a game, it's the Trenton BIC.
And for
here.
This game, oh my gosh, for this game, basically 58 minutes of this game, Anthony Service was the best quarterback in this league. The last 2 minutes, these 2 fumbles. Now, credit the defensive line for BIC for getting there. But here, let's play this game out, just for the fans at home. 3 quick run plays, timeout immediately after each. There's enough time that on 4th down, if you make a stop, look at this
play.
That's just an amazing. That's an amazing play by a guy who really doesn't have a position that he lists on his jersey, or on the program.
Roster?
Yeah, because it doesn't matter. If he's playing football, he's going to try to make that winning play. And for all of the great plays that those 2 rookies have made in Smalls and Service, Smalls gets beat on the lower man winning the edge as a defensive lineman, and Service drops the ball when he's just about to throw and loses grip of the football.
And it looks like the Renegades trying to see if this game is over or not.
I mean, there's 3 timeouts. There's still
there's a lot of time left.
It's
you see the Baltimore Watchmen.
Here's the deal: if there's
ready.
54 seconds and an average play takes about 6 seconds on a short run play that gets stopped, unless BIC tries to throw the ball, which they might, and it could be incomplete. Let's say that in 3 plays, 20 seconds goes by, and it's 34 seconds left, 4th down for BIC. Right?
Issues between both sides.
It's the Chewbacca thing all over again. So if there is 34 seconds still left on the clock on 4th down, the clock stops on a turnover on down. So we're going to decide this. It's not over yet.
No, it's over. You make sure it's over.
I'm wrong.
This game is over. This game has been called.
Yeah, it's over.
Ball game over. The Trenton BIC on the back of their defense get the victory and will be flying to Vegas to play the winner of the Sick-Witted and the Stealth. When we return, we find out who will be playing possibly the defending national champions. And we'll have an update on the score from Vegas. It's the A7FL playoffs. It's been chaotic. And guess what? We've got more for you. And it's crazier. We're back here live. It's the A7FL playoffs, and the Trenton BIC got the win. Walked it off with Trey Robinson punching his ticket back to Vegas by punching the ball out of Anthony Service's hand. And nothing can be taken away from this East Orange Renegades team. I think that they have proven that this is a new era in the Eastern Conference in the A7FL. This is a new day in the A7FL, no matter the result. The East Orange Renegades and the Silk City Animals proved that by getting here today. This is the furthest I think either team has ever gotten in the playoffs, and this is the closest we've seen a team outside of the Insomniacs and the U check the chin of what is undoubtedly a super team. And whatever, and Corey Hammond, Rob Fabian, your thoughts on our first game as we get stats and highlights ready for you. And we prepare at the top of the hour. We're an hour late, but we're going to make up for it. We made up for it already with extra football. You got free football. So now it's an extra serving of football at the top of the hour when the Watchmen and the Animals face off, the 2 seed and the 3 seed. But Corey, Rob, your thoughts on what is an instant, caustic, and controversial classic in Asbury Park?
Yeah, this game is going to be talked about 10 years from now by players that have played on both sides. Ask Rob if Moon was in. Because these are the types of plays, as we watch the highlights of this amazing game, we're going to see a lot of great plays. We're going to see a lot of things that we could talk about and be a little bit upset with. But what I want to focus on are the amazing plays, like this play from Trey Robinson to bail out BIC after a decent but not great first drive. They were there to strike first. Listen, if we're going to ask what happened in this game, I love everything that Service did at every moment of this game, except in the final seconds, not securing the ball, which may or may not even really 100% be his fault if we really break down like we were talking about off air. But I will say this, in the loss, in the failure, there's a lot for the Renegades to build on, and if they take this as a villain origin story and move this in the positive and turn it into a positive and work into the offseason to improve, this is going to be a scary team that I think everyone nationwide should really have their attention 100% focused on.
Rob, before we go to you, for the Renegades, for me, I think this proves 2 things. These guys are for real, and that the QC Crush next year, if they hold together, might be able to make some noise. I think that these 2 games have proven that the A7FL has gotten better. Because when have we walked out of a week like this with the amount of conversations we're going to have heading into next week? Because the BIC are going to have to prove it again, Rob. They're going to have to fly across the country with this team that has 1 total game that they squeaked out of a victory, to face a team in the Stealth or Sick With It, who have had some changes. The Sick With It rotating in a new quarterback, the Stealth going through several coaches, more coaches than I think the BIC has had in the last 11 years in one season. But this is a sign of a new era in the A7FL. And a lot of people may be marking Sick With It, if they get the win, as a potential favorite against the BIC in the desert next Sunday.
That means they out of their mind. I think the only thing that's beating BIC in Vegas next week is the weather. I don't think anything else got – I don't think anything – this – you got to understand what I said it earlier. We saw what we saw from East Orange today because they are literally built to counteract any and everything BIC can do. Sick With It is not built that way. Yeah. They're not. They can barely get over the hump, but the guys that they keep getting their butt was by. They can't get past what's going on over there. BIC did not get blown out by the Insomniacs in the chip. They lost by a beautiful, amazing last second, no time on the clock play. Let's not act like these teams were neck and neck. Like it could have been anyone's game. Sick With It doesn't stand a chance. Call it what you want. I'm saying it now.
I'll say this. You are basing that on the reputation of the guys that I think did not play as well as they should have today. And it starts and ends almost always with a quarterback. And we're going to talk about Sterry Codrington and what he needs to do to turn it around in this playoff. But when BIC now is headed to Vegas against Sick With It, if anything, assuming Sick With It is able to take care of the Stealth, if anything, what it should give Sick With It and the Stealth the ability to think is that they are facing a team that is vulnerable, that they do have a chance.
How are they vulnerable?
They're obviously showing in this game that if you rush Sterry Codrington the right way and force him into throwing the ball, that he was inaccurate today, and that may be something that they can repeat. Now, the thing is they have Mark Bagley, so I don't know what to do with that.
And it seems like we're getting ready for our next game.
Okay, here we go.
It will be the Animals taking on the Watchmen. The Watchmen throw it off as the Animals will start with the ball. Here comes an opportunity for Silk City to get on the board first, and Quaddy Morgan gets to the 41, and he is brought down on his own sideline, but that young man set things going.